All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. What is it? It is the 9th of August. Unbelievable. We are almost at the middle of August. Where is the year going? I have no idea. Just got to fix the little mic thing here. There we go. That should be a little better. Hopefully, JT got my message that I had to be running a little bit late. So, hopefully, this will be either a longer broadcast or a very short one. We'll see. Get JT Dutch on here for the Sunday JT Dutch show. So I want to thank Bernie for having me on and allowing me to sort of talk about why I'm going to be taking a, let's say, cut back on frequency pretty substantially rather than a break. Who knows? Um, However you want to call it. So thank you, Philip. Philip, welcome in. He says, good program with Bernie. Bernie's awesome. Bernie is awesome. He's Bernie is a prince, that is for sure. So, hope everybody's having a good day today and just having a good everything. But I really do appreciate Bernie having me on, and this community. You guys are really, really amazing, and again, we build something here. We built something in the YouTube gaming sports community, which let's face it, it's because of everybody together. Where we nobody can take that away. Nobody's going to take that away. So hopefully, all the projects that you're doing are a lot of fun. I know that for many people now, you're gearing up for. I guess this is closing on the beginning of American football season or something. I don't know. So for those of you looking forward to that, cool. And yeah, so we'll see if JT comes on, and if he does, that will be awesome. We'll have just a little. I'll be clicking through while we're talking because he's a big diamond mind. This is a welcome back midlife crisis, just a maybe once a week thing, unless there's something big that happens like a game release or big update. But thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Um, so yeah, it is going to be a break for a while. It really, really is. So, but I do appreciate you guys. But I know JT's a big fan of Diamond Mine Baseball, and it's a nice one to have sort of running or whatever. So we'll probably do this. Looks like the a version of the Philadelphia Phillies versus the New York Mets. This is from the All-Time Great Players Volume 2 of um, of Diamond Mine Baseball. So, but I sent him a DM and also mentioned in Bernie's broadcast. So Bernie and I will be back in a couple weeks to be on this channel for our next Diamonds and Dice, and we hope to have Mike Silva on and Jamie Marshall to talk about the Big Beautiful Baseball Bash. Uh, Make sure before JT Dutch comes on, you set the game to end after nine if it's tied. I know, right? That was yeah, we had a hell of a game going on there, didn't we? Ah, well, it happens. It happens. So, I don't know. Has anybody tried that baseball spirits game? I'm so almost gonna pull the trigger on that one. It looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. Getting great reviews. I'm not sure what that whole pre-purchase or early purchase thing is about because the thing that's holding me back. Yeah, he'll never leave that. He'll never live that down. Um, is that I don't want to have to pay like for whatever. I mean, if it's going to be a full game that I'm going to be putting $59 down or whatever it costs, I'm going to buy it. It looks really cool, especially since it has a franchise mode. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and I hope that they will open the game up for modding. In that case, then I think they really can show San Diego Studios that okay, you can't just trot out the same kind of game every year. And I'm talking, of course, about MLB The Show. There's Brother Jack Dawson. Good evening to you, buddy. Talked about you and Bernie's broadcast. All good, so don't worry. We're just hanging around to see if JT Dutch is going to show up. Hopefully, he will, or this will be the shortest broadcast ever. So there was a lot of great comments. Thank you everybody for those comments, both on the video and in Discord. So you're not rid of me that easily. It's just going to be a lot less frequent. So Tessie Ashpool Beatles, glad you're still here. Oh man, I'm glad I'm still here too. Missed the week streams, but make sure to tune in on Sunday to wind down the weekend. Well, I appreciate that. I think it's really good that we have a chance to get together for some of us, winding down the weekend and getting ready for the next week, whatever it is we're doing. Again, just for this place for everybody can just kind of hang out and just be and forget about all the craziness that's going on, and we're all here to celebrate this hobby that we love. Okay, there he is. There he is. Let's get him on. You guys may listen to the dulcet tones of my brother JT Dutch. So let me get him on here. Okay, and boom. All right. Yes, I am scaling back. Um, mainly during. So, you know, I'll explain it a little more. Hey, Doug. There you go, fellow Bucko fan. All right, JT, let's get you on here. Let's make sure this time everybody can hear you. So remember, we had that issue last time, last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. So there you go, JT. We're waiting. The green room is ready for you. We have all the top chefs, the cordon bleu chefs, making your favorite nachos or something. I don't know. So JT to join us momentarily. There's Nathaniel. Welcome in, Nathaniel. It is good to see you. All right, JT.
Right, can you hear me?
Yeah. Now let's make. Can everybody hear JT? Of course, they have. You need to be talking a little, JT, because the 6 second delay.
Well, how are you, brother?
I'm hanging in, man. It's
All right, good, good,
it
good to hear
happened.
from you.
It's sort of day of deadly humidity today, and all that. Okay, so Nathaniel says yes, so we're
All
good.
right, great to be on.
Great to have you here as
I
always.
haven't heard the podcast yet, but I will pick it up. I had to get some shut eye earlier, but
No worries, mate.
we're
Richard
good now.
Otone. There's my paisan. Haven't seen Richard in a while. How you doing, Richard? Yeah, man. So, how was your week?
It was fine. No, can't complain. So it's just a scaling back is what you're doing, and
At
I
this
think
point. At this
that's just
point.
obviously that's fair. You do this for the love of the game, and
Uh-huh.
if you don't. Yeah, if there's other things that are coming up and life getting in the way, or you don't love things as much as you did before, you got to make decisions. And
Well, it's more like as like because Bernie just had me on the last hour and everything on his
yeah, I guess
channel.
I'll get more info with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not that I'm losing any love for doing this or whatever. I just feel that at this point, what I'm offering here has been so much more of the same, and I don't really want to be a thief of time, if you will, of other people's time. So this
Oh,
way, scaling it
okay.
back and just hanging out, on a weekend night, either on a Saturday or a Sunday, or again, as I said, if something big comes out, like Crash is working on a pretty major update to strategy baseball. Paul
Right.
Fay has something really amazing in the works. So when big things come out like that, if it
Right.
comes out on a Thursday night, I'll be on. But it's not going to be the sort of every night thing. And I'm even considering on Sundays to do a bit earlier because I know it's late for
Hmm.
a lot of people when I'm on as well. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
But no,
Sounds good.
I still love you, bunch of outlaws, and I still love doing this. But
Yeah.
I just, it's like, it started to just occur to me that like, wow, everything sounds the same, whether I'm doing out of the park baseball or action PC or whatever, and I'm like, damn, it's boring. It'd be boring for these people, so I just want to scale it back. So, there we go. Welcome in, legends. How you doing, man? So Woltles is coming out of work mode to say Beatles. Thank you for your broadcast. Don't always get to see them live. Don't always chime in when I do, but appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate that, guys. I really, really do. Um, and Legends, so yeah, it is a break in a way. It really is. I mean, that was Bernie's title. Why am I taking a break? But it is. It's going to be much, much less frequent. Usually just going to probably be just one night a week now. So that puts me kind of, whatever. But there's so many guys, and on Bernie's broadcast, and then JT would turn it over to you, man. So we talk some baseball. But
Hmm.
guys, there are content creators out there that I routinely see that these guys are getting no views or one view, and they're putting out a lot of content. Cutter Historical is one of them. You know, subscribe. I don't know that he uses the term family members, whatever, but subscribe. I mean, this guy's putting out a lot of content. And some of it's pretty interesting. It really is. I mean, there's things like when he talks about basketball or things like that. But being a baseball only fan, that's
Right.
not gonna, But there's a lot of great stuff. I know everybody has a cow when RJL Network takes his hiatus. But there's a lot of good guys out there, well known and some not so well known. There's a lot of great people in this community. So, okay, so Will's back into lurk mode. Thank you. So JT, I'd say, how do you feel about your Dodgers? But we already know about that. But
Yeah,
I'm
they've
just,
been going through a bit of a tough time, but
uh,
it is what it is. You know,
yeah.
I said only 45 losses would be tolerated. I expected 117 wins. I wanted them to win more games than any team in the history of the game because
Mm-hmm.
they spend more money than any team in the history of the game. But
Yeah.
I knew that wasn't going to happen. I knew realistically that it's just not going to work out that way. So
Yeah.
having a big losing streak like this, it all depends on how they pull out of it. They got a good pitcher and trade before the trade deadline, and really they were the only ones to
So
that
let's
could ever
talk about
get that
that.
picture. Uh huh.
You guys are loaded, loaded,
Yeah.
loaded, loaded. There's nobody. What I mean, how? Like getting to Rick Scooble. I mean, what? Like you guys are already like killing it. So, can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely we can. I think that the
Hitchfield.
Dodgers were really the only team to get him because I think everybody else knew that they realistically probably didn't have a shot at him
Mm-hmm.
in the offseason and free agency. And with the uncertainty surrounding next year
Mm-hmm.
and whether baseball is going to be delayed for a year or 3 months or 2 months, or
Right.
I think maybe that the idea is that scaring teams off. I obviously none of us really know who he's going to choose. I think the chances are, if I were a betting man, which I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
that the Dodgers would be the team to sign him, but we don't really know.
Nathaniel's saying here,
It's
what's scary is the Dodgers farm system.
mm, we'll see.
Yeah.
I tend not to really. I don't really want to get in my. I don't want to put my tinfoil hat on this, but I think there's a little bit. I think baseball America can be. I think influences like opinions can be changed for money, and that helps the Dodgers to have their prospects hyped because it makes them great trade pieces. It's like, hey, Baseball America said he was blah blah blah. Well, okay, but a lot of guys they've traded away have not turned out to be very good. I guess no more of a percentage than any other team, but we'll see.
I'm very disappointed in my Pirates. We've just dropped our sixth straight series. I mean, still a better team than last year, but we're in last place now in the NL Central, and it's just we did some decent acquisitions, but you know what? Bob Nutting's still not really willing to spend any money because we could have landed now. I mean, or at least made offers, but we there were no real serious offers coming out, and I feel bad for Ben Sherrington because I really believe
Yeah,
as the Buccos GM, he's trying, but we're on a terrible slide. So we clobbered the Mets last night, and they clobbered us today. The Mets, and no offense to Mets fans, but you guys aren't that good this year either. But we had, well, we still do. the better record. And before
Hmm.
right before the All Star break, we swept the damn Brewers, and we've just dropped 6 straight series. And this was a team that, again, by May of last year, we were pretty much in the cellar. It took us till August, so we're 3 months better. But I'm not. I know I never give up. I'll always be a Pirate fan, but
Right.
it's the answer for us is we just need new ownership. Nutting needs to step aside. Skeens has had Doug. You are absolutely right. Skeens, his thing he's talked about, uh, you know, that he wanted to back off on his velocity to save his arm. Well, it's not working. The best pitcher right now for the Pittsburgh Pirates is Brandon Ashcraft. People are having but even with Skeens having an awful season, the thing that you have to point to the Pittsburgh Pirates is our shit bullpen. And it is. It's just our bullpens. Skeens has left a lot of games with leads, as have the other starters, and these guys aren't getting it done. And other clubs know, right? And so the way baseball's played these days, I mean, complete games I mean, come on. What have there been any complete games this season? Maybe one, maybe two. I don't know, just a handful, right? But that's a stat that's going away. And so
Hmm.
clubs know if you can get to the Pirates bullpen. And so even games that we win, like that Mets blowout last night, was pretty rare, right? It tends to be that we're winning games, but they're high scoring games on both sides, and that is indicative of just a crap bullpen. And the other thing too is we took so long and held on to Marcell Osuna. Everybody knows who's a baseball fan that Osuna starts out the season, every season, slowly, but then he picks up. Never happened. He was never that threat. And it's like, okay, just why didn't we just outright him? We having O'Neill Cruz, still out, not having Connor Griffin in there, but a major league club knows how to fill those gaps, and I don't see the Pirates doing that. Yeah. So Nathaniel, you're absolutely right. He says agrees with the bullpen status and the Buccos. Doug says, in fact, a rotation has been rather disappointing with the bullpen. Yeah, the bullpen should. It's just, and that's been all season. The Pirates bullpen. It really, really is. And while we had a chance, yeah, Marcel was a huge bust. And while I thought that we had a chance to maybe wild card, we're not now. I mean, come on, it's just it is what it is, and it's
Realistically, it's going
disappointing,
to be
man.
tough for them to get in the be a wild card team.
Not yeah. At this point, we're
They're
talking 2 months
yeah.
of baseball left, of regular
Mhm.
season baseball. There's just we're not the 1914 Miracle Braves. It's just
Yeah.
not going to happen, Bucko fans.
They are 5.5 out of a wild card spot, and
Right.
but that's not as critical as them being behind about 4 or 5 teams, and they're going to
Exactly.
have to leapfrog a lot of teams to do that.
Hmm.
As far as complete games, there have been 14 in the major leagues combined. No
So
team has more than one.
right.
So
So
it's
so you can't gone are the days when and those days weren't that long ago where you could say, okay, we've got our guy's going to go out and he's going to give us
yeah,
7 8 or perhaps 9 innings, right? It's
yeah,
not so even and Skeens is a little he's not as scary this year. I mean, opening day he got clobbered, he got the early hook.
yeah.
Then
He
he went
he
on a good
struggled a bit. Yeah,
he did. Then he went on a good tear. But I'm trying to think. I mean, if you're a starting pitcher, right? And I mean, outwardly, of course, for the press and for the fans, you're going to talk about, yeah, we're going to get through this dry spell. But you kind of wonder if you're Skeens, if you're Ashcraft, any of these guys. It's like I'm going to go out there and maybe you start to think, why should I pitch my ass off because the guys in the pen aren't getting it done. Hey, leadoff center fielder says just got back from the Dodgers Diamond's back 3 game series at Chase Field, rooting for the Diamondbacks. Wore them out. He says they won 2 of the 3. So Arizona gave you guys a little trouble, huh, JT?
well, they won 2 out of 3. The Dodgers were very fortunate to win the middle game. Uh, they have Edwin Diaz, who I think his days are pretty much done, being an effective pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And he blew the first game, blew the save, gave up a 3-run home run to lose the game. I believe it was a 3-run blast,
Oof.
either 2-run or 3-run. and then he came in with a 1-run lead in the ninth last night, and that 1 run went away. And fortunately for the Dodgers, it was back-to-back triples that got him, which is pretty rare.
Wow.
Triples, and they lasted because they went into extra innings, and the Dodgers got to run in extra innings from a single from Ohtani, and that's then they lost it again today because Wrobleski wasn't. It was more the offense, I think, disappointing than Wrobleski not. It's not that Wrobleski pitched well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was more him and the offense together,
Right.
and they lost a tough 4-2 ball game. I think that was the score, 4-2. Didn't personally see the game, just saw the score, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't really have many comments to offer about that game. But I did see the game last night, and I just remember I actually kind of got into a little tiff with the girl because she wanted to take a walk at that time, and I wanted to see Edwin Diaz kind of prove me right by blowing the game, and yeah, the two consecutive triples were quite amusing for me to watch, and I thought, oh, this here
This
we go again,
is Here we go
and
again.
but it's just yeah, the Mets are Dodgers doing what the Mets wish they could do. The Mets just haven't had a lot of luck. They haven't made a whole lot of effective decisions.
Well, it brings up an interesting point about the Mets, and I'm not here to Mets bash or anything like
Right.
that. But
They do it on their own.
I begin I begin to wonder though that when we're talking about the big payrolls and stuff like that, it's not
Mhm.
like the Mets have a small payroll. They're just not getting
No.
it done. They're for whatever reason they've got I mean, what is it? Mark, is that his name? Is it Cohen? What's it? Steve Cohen. He or what
Yeah.
is that his name? Who's the name of the Mets owner? It's Cohen.
Um.
Somebody, isn't it?
Yeah, Cohen. Yeah, you're thinking of Mark Cohen, the guy who does Digital Diamond baseball.
Yeah, I don't mean him.
Um. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I can't remember. I'm really bad with owner names.
yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that Torrens isn't hitting. Simeon, it seems to be at an early end to his career. Bo Bichette has been a massive disappointment. Don't know what happened to him.
I saw him down in the
Um.
minors in Double A. He
Yeah.
was playing for the Richmond, the Richmond Flying Squirrels, and saw him against the Harrisburg Senators. I'm like, holy shit, that's Dante's son. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the last I saw of him was in Double A. So
Lindor's 32. He's in decline.
yeah,
And I mean, he's not having a bad season, but it's not really good. They've been
Steve Cohen. Thank you, Nate.
they've basically. I mean, Juan Soto's is just as good as he always was.
Yeah,
He's hurt now, and it's
yeah.
a tough season. It's one of those tough seasons.
It's been a bizarre baseball season. I think it
Mm,
really has.
it had the potential of being a yeah, it had the potential for that before it started, and it's kind of wacky right now. Nobody's. I guess if you want to say the Dodgers are going out and dominating, which I don't think they're really doing. I think they're a good
Hmm.
team, obviously.
Yeah,
The Rays are
yeah.
pretty fortunate this season, or they're being really well managed. Their run differential isn't that impressive, but their record is. And the Yankees are on the other end of the spectrum. Run differential wise, the Yankees look better than the Rays, but it's not happening in the win column, and that's where the payoff window is. I remember Vince Scully used to say, "Well, the Dodgers have out hit the Cardinals 12-4, but that's not the payoff window. That's not,
Yeah.
they got to score runs. They can get hits all you want, but for
So
one reason or
midlife
10,
says
they're
you guys got Diaz a year too early.
well, I don't know. I'll be shocked if Edwin Diaz doesn't cost the Dodgers a playoff series. I would hope that they would they would understand what's going on with him before the postseason gets here and make a change. He is just not a good pitcher anymore. And that's wow. The Red Sox run differential. I've just seen you load up
Yeah. Well,
the
because I wanted to
standings.
talk
Wow,
about
their differential is fantastic. The Red
I
Sox.
wanted to talk about the Rays, the Tampa Bay. They're I mean
Yeah,
that's a legit 5.5 up on the New York Yankees. That's
yeah.
legit,
They've
man.
been winning. They've been. I mean, it looks like luck or really good managing or a combination of both to me.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, it's happening. I mean, you look at their expected wins and losses based on their compared to their actual. It's quite a big difference, and usually expected is right around where the reality is, but
Mm-hmm.
not for the Rays. The Red Sox obviously were on that great run. They've still won 8 out of 10, even though they've lost the last 2 games. So
Well, yeah,
who knows what they'll do?
well, I'm guessing they're not chanting so much "sell the team" now. I mean, because they had a tough first half, but
Absolutely, they did.
I mean, you look at that run differential, 84. I mean, you
They
know,
came in and swept us, I believe. I think they swept came into Dodger Stadium, swept the Dodgers, and that was part of the Dodgers streak. That the unfortunate one. Now they've lost 8 out of 9, something like that.
right.
So tough time. But the Dodgers had enough of a cushion that they're not going to be harmed. Not no hurt. They'll be fine. Um,
Nathaniel says Freddie Peralta's dried up now. Good luck, Rays. So it's
let me
then you
catch
look
up
at
with the chat here.
Jays. Jays not doing so well this year. Good God,
No, they're not. They're not a good
seven
ball club this
seven
year.
games below 500, and yet they fought your Dodgers, which in an essentially 8-game World Series last year, one
They
of the
played a
great World Series
magnificent
of all
World
time.
Series.
They
Probably
did,
should have
but
won it, but it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. I don't know. I
well, when
I
they left the
didn't have.
bases loaded, I knew it was
Mm,
over. I knew it was over. It was like that's it. Because you got, hey D Scott, if you have the bases loaded against the Dodgers, you gotta push that run across, and it just didn't happen. And I
yeah, we
knew
know we
the
know it
series
doesn't
was
happen
over.
sometimes. That's just the way it is.
Yeah,
Baseball's baseball, and sometimes you can hit the ball right, and like it goes on a line, and it hits somebody in the glove, and that's just the way it is. Baseball's You can't
yeah.
deny the effect of luck. You can't say that luck isn't a factor. It is, and
No insult to American League fans, but if you're a fan of American League, you can't be. It's just the American League
it's
this year is
tough.
just like sucks. Yeah, pretty
The
much. I
Tig
mean,
the Tigers
the
have the best run differential in the American League, and they have a losing record. That ought to tell you everything you need to know.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
they are plus
yeah,
87, and they're 2 games under. So
yeah.
that's that's just that's tough living. The whole American League West is
Oh,
brutal.
that's just the American League West is a joke. It's a joke.
And
I
Cal
mean,
Raleigh has had the
you
worst
know,
season coming off of what he did last year.
yeah,
He's been terrible this year. I don't know.
yeah,
We weren't fans. The girl and I weren't fans of the way he acted in the World Baseball Classic, not acknowledging his teammates on the Mariners, saying, "Oh, I've got to focus on the World Baseball Classic," and then he's saying, "Well, I don't make excuses," but yet he's blaming the World Baseball Classic on his performance this year, which I thought was kind of okay. You're saying you're not making excuses, but this sounds like one. So I don't know. I don't really know what to tell you on that. I hope he turns it around. I don't like to see ball players decline like that. I don't think it's good
right.
for the game. He had a great season, and a lot of people got excited about the Mariners and about baseball. And it's unfortunate to see guys have bad seasons like that. I don't look out for it,
No,
but
of course
it
not.
happens. And I think this is one of the biggest drops I've ever seen from a guy who had such an incredible season last year to being brutal this year. Like a guy that if you were playing, like if you play 2026 on a tabletop or on a PC game, you're not going to want to start Cal Raleigh. He's hitting something like one in the 160s this year.
Yeah.
How can you justify that? It's like literally anything else. So that's one of the things that you got to consider when you play tabletop next year. You play Cal in that many at bats. Are you going to just kind of get through it, wince your way through it because you already know how he ended up. It's it's uh it's a tricky kind of conundrum. It's one of the things that makes playing tabletop baseball, sim baseball,
Oh, absolutely.
all the possibilities. You could
Well, a lot of
pretend not to know like what happened to the guys last year or what happened that to the guys in the year that you're simming, you know what I mean? You could
mhm.
pretend to go in not knowing, but you know you're gonna know. You just know. You've seen that.
Yeah, you've
So you
seen
have to
it.
make your own decisions. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say a lot of Brewers talk. They have the best record in baseball right now, and
You do?
so the National League Central was a dogfight, but it's not now. I mean,
No.
you got the Cardinals playing five. I know you're not a Cardinals fan, but you got the Cardinals playing 500 ball. The Pirates are
Mhm.
4 games below 500, and
Mhm.
the Reds five out. But I mean, I don't and no offense, to nothing against but Cubs are not going to catch the Brewers. It's just not going to happen. They're going to
I don't
swoon like
see
they
it.
did last year.
The
They're not going
Brewers
to
would have
happen.
to really struggle, and the Cubs would have to not struggle.
And that's a
Uh,
respectable run differential the Chicago Cubs have, but you're just not going to
oh, it's
catch the
very
Brewers.
respectable. It's fine. They're
Yeah.
certainly going to go to the postseason because of the way it's set up, and so I think that's what they're focusing on. If they do win the division, great. But if not, that's part of the problem I have with the wild card. It takes all of the tension away from the divisional races, and that makes me sad a little bit. But
Well, the
because I think
Chicago
the Brewers absolutely have
Southsiders,
earned it. I
Chicago
think they,
Southsiders should be happy though. White
yeah,
Sox
they
atop the AL Central. Uh,
right.
Again, but the American League just weak, man. This year,
Yeah, it's
it's
it's a
just
tough deal for the American League this year.
yeah. I mean,
We called that out going in. I mean, we
yeah,
saw that that was going to be the case. When we did our Sunday night chats in March and April, I'm sure we called that out
yeah,
and said, "Hey, the American League's going to have a tough time of it." But that's given the White Sox the opportunity to turn some heads. I mean, it's what, 2 years ago they lost 121 games or 119 games,
right.
and now look at them. Their fans must be enjoying this. I mean, I would be if I were a fan. I don't know how Bob Zolke. I think I would guess that he's feeling pretty good about this.
Hmm.
Um, it's it's a fun story, and it's possible in a division like the Central because the Tigers just haven't had a whole lot of luck this season.
No, they
They
haven't. They haven't.
Either that or they're being poorly managed. I don't watch them day after day, so I couldn't tell you what the problem is. A lot of times it just comes down to your most clutch at bats.
Hmm.
One of the reasons I turn off this, I guess it brings up something with sim baseball that I talk about a lot. Um, when you like clutchability, like in Strat, when you play super advanced, you can play clutchability, but I don't do it because it's not something that I think exists.
Hmm.
I think clutch situations exist,
Oh yeah,
but your hitters on your team have just as much of a chance to fail in the clutch at 1 year as they would to succeed in the clutch the year before. And
hmm,
and I feel like that makes a big difference. Like the '69 Mets, if they don't hit in the clutch the way they did during the season, there's no way they win 100 games.
yeah.
It just, they're more of an 86, 87 win team, which isn't bad, but it wasn't as good as the Cubs and the Pirates. I think I told you, I think the Pirates are the best team in the National League East in 1969. I mean, obviously you'll never really know, and when you play, that's your playthrough and what have you. But
All right.
I think when you crunch
So
the numbers all there, they're the best team.
well, what's interesting about that is because you guys know I'm doing that 1969
Uh-huh.
project, and in all the Sims I'm doing it, except in one, the Pirates are like either first place or just behind in
Yeah,
second
they were
place,
a
like
really good team
half
that
game
year.
out. Real good team in '69.
Hmm.
But what I'm trying to see is, can the Cubs take away this the forever sting from our good family member, the
Hmm.
Cubs to Bears. So I've not done all the Sims yet. The next one is going to be Action PC, but I'm up to June and all of the ones I think that I've done so far,
Right?
and one of them the Cubs are playing some really tough baseball. But 1969 is a good year. It's a fun year. Well, I'm not really focusing on the
Absolutely, it
American
is.
League as
Hmm.
much. It's kind of about the Cubs and the Cubs, and then of course the Mets and Pirates. And are they gonna? How
Right.
much of a spoiler role are they gonna play, or
Hmm.
whatever? But
The National League
still,
West is also a good race. I don't think the Braves were the best team in that division. I mean, as much as it pains me to say it, I think the Giants were.
hmm,
But I just
that's huge for a Dodgers fan to say that. But
it should have
you're
been it should
fair
have
though.
been
You're
a
fair.
Pirates Dodgers. It should have been a Pirates Dodgers LCS. But again, crunching numbers isn't the same as going out there on the field. And when the Mets had big moments in the regular season, they came through. There's really no reason for it. I will definitely say that I think Gil Hodges outmanaged Leo DeRocher and the Cubs.
Hmm.
I think Hodges, the Mets were a team that they had that Hodges had the ability to platoon with a lot, and DeRocher didn't do that with the Cubs. And when you play a lot of day games, I think it wears you down. I think the Cubs' problems late in seasons have been due to the fact that they just didn't play any night games, that the sun wore them down. Now, do I have any proof for that? No, just something I think. And I think if you're going to be a Cubs manager for 1969 on a playthrough, you got to think of ways to give guys rest. Like Kessinger, by the end of the season, it seemed like he could barely hold the bat up.
Right. Yeah.
He was so tired. And I mean, the Cubs just didn't have a strong bench. But again, we don't really know because Leo didn't really use the bench a lot.
Right.
I think in a lot of games he could have afforded to pull guys out of the game when the Cubs had a bit of a lead and get some other guys some chance to be in there rather than playing every guy the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at their inning totals on defense, you can really see it.
Yeah.
Leo just kind of, I don't know if he just didn't think about it or he thought he used guys on the bench that he would blow the game and he would get blamed. It's tough, but the Cubs were definitely they were definitely getting tired, in my opinion. I just from what I could see.
I'll bring them up here on Baseball Reference, and we'll kind of just look at
Oh, there you go.
just the 1969 season as well. I keep forgetting to do these in Brave Browser. Oh
But you
well.
look at that. Hundley played 151 games. That's insane for a catcher.
That
Banks
is,
barely
yeah.
missed any time. Kessinger barely missed any time. Sano, Billy Williams, Billy Williams played every game.
He led the majors too.
Hmm.
163 games. Damn,
Hmm.
way to go, Billy. So Midlife brings up something here. Let's go ahead and comment it up here. He says, I beg to differ regarding clutch and strat. It's not just an RBI normalizer. For example, Madlock hit 339 and 76, and his card is filled with clutch hits, 85 ribbies. Real life, he hit 386 in the clutch.
And I'm not denying that. That is a thing that happened midlife. That I can't. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying. I wonder what he hit the year after. It's not like something that's an ability. I just think that he happened to hit X like 386. Maybe the next year he hit 326 or 286. I really don't know. I mean, you can look it up. Obviously, we live in such an age where you can look all that up. It's wonderful. When I was first playing Strat, you couldn't look it up. You didn't. I had no idea. But and that's why I don't use clutch ratings. I just don't do it. I just figure everything resets, and I think that it's more of a chance game if you add the clutch ability or clutch results in there, because I don't believe clutch ability is a thing. In fact, I know it's not. And one of the things that I did, I moved from playing basic Stratomatic in my first year having, and I was single digit age, and I went within 2 games I was playing super advanced Strat, and I wasn't using the clutch abilities, but I was using the ballpark. The ballpark ratings are perfect. I love that. It should matter. That's a real thing. Parks are different, but I just don't believe that clutch ability exists. Everybody talks about, well, look at Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. Reggie Jackson was just as bad in the League Championship Series as he was good in the World Series. Fortunately for him, his teams carried it while he was struggling in the League Championship, and then when they got to the World Series, for whatever reason, Reggie started to hit again. And against teams that he didn't play all year. And, how did he hit it? Why? We don't really know. He just did. And I just think it's one of those situations where we don't. I don't think that Bill Madlock was particularly a clutch hitter. I don't know. But I don't believe it's something that. Because if you have clutch ability, you would always do well. You would almost always. Your clutch ability, your clutch results would be relatively normal, like your regular batting average would be. You know what I mean? And there would be less deviation. It seems like there's a lot of deviation in the clutch. But just my opinion, from what I can see.
So we'll throw something out here uh,
Hmm.
for you guys. So start with you, JT. So I mean, we all love with baseball projects. So what would be and this is for everybody. What would be a season project that you would do, a season replay you'd love to do, but that does not focus on your favorite team?
Oh man, there's so many.
Okay, so
I wanted 78 Brewers. I would love to see if they can beat the Yankees. I haven't done it yet, but I would love to one day.
okay.
I would like to see if I could win the pennant with the Phillies in '64.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Oof.
I would want to see. I think with the Pirates, uh, I honestly '69 is a good one to take with the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right, exactly. Midlife.
Here,
If
let me put
I
that
think
up there because then people know what you're talking
I
about.
think the
There we go.
best players. I think the best clutch players are the best players. I think the best players in the clutch are the best players overall.
Oh, Bernie, you're welcome. I think we both hit the wrong button. It's all good. Thank you, man. Thank you. It was a nice. It was a good one. So, thank you very much for that. Go ahead, G. So the
But
question is, guys. So type up. If you were to pick a season that you would want to replay, and or whatever project, however you want to do it, but it
yeah,
cannot involve your favorite team. What
oh
what
man,
season would you choose?
there's so many.
So
I would
JT, you
try to
brought
win
up.
the division in '77 with the Red Sox.
Hey, Todd.
Not, I think the Red Sox in '77 were better than they were in '78.
Ooh.
I just do. I think if you look at if you number crunch, the '77 Red Sox look better, and if you played with them, maybe they'd have better luck and in more situations where they needed better luck. Um, their pitching is better in '78, but I think their offense is much worse than it was in '77. '77, they hit a lot of home runs. They hit a lot of everything. In '78, obviously Rice had the big MVP year, not taking anything away from him, but the whole team was more impressive in '77 than they were in '78.
Always liked
And
Jim Rice. Always liked Jim Rice. I mean, I know you were talking about,
I don't think he belongs in
we're
the
talking
Hall of
about
Fame, but I
like.
respect him. I think he was a
Oh
great
yeah, yeah,
player.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you were talking about like the no clutchability or clutchability or whatever, but it's
Yeah.
one of those things. I think it's a matter of perception, and for me, it always seemed that Jim Rice was just clutch. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those players. It's sort of like I've talked about in a lot of the
In
projects that I
certain
do.
years, yeah,
That
in certain
like
years he was a clutch player. Yeah.
like Stan Hack is always clutch. Like in
Hmm.
all these like different projects I've done, it's like Stan Hack comes up and boom. I've seen it happen on Legends Channel, with Stan Hack. And it's like this guy just does it. Another guy that beats me up is George Sisler. It's just at the right time. George Sisler's just going to hurt me all the time. Doesn't matter. Um,
He was a great player, George Sisler. My goodness. I mean, he was
well, yeah,
great.
he's one of the greats. Is this?
He's
Hey,
gonna hurt you.
Crash, how you doing? He
I
says he
mean,
would
the
do.
85 cards crash, I mean, KC dominated that World Series. It's just obviously the bad call was the bad call, but they still played Game 7 and the Royals beat them 11-0. It was just the Royals series.
Welcome in, Tim.
The '95 Angels, that's a good one, playing the full season. How could they? That's a good one. Um, '93, the Giants. I don't think the Giants choked. The Giants won 103 games. That's not. I don't think that's a choking at all. I think they're. I think the '93 Giants were fantastic. Also midlife, talking about the '76 Reds. They just hit, and hit. That '76 Reds offense was probably the best offense all around in Major League history. They
76
led the
Red.
league. The '76 Reds
Oh
led the
yeah, better
league.
than the 75 Reds. I mean,
They
we had
led the
a
league in
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
I mean, if you look at the Baseball Reference page, I used to
Let's
see it
bring them
on
up.
in
Let's bring
in,
them up.
in the Baseball Encyclopedia. They were black ink. They were the whole row of black ink. They led the league in everything: stolen bases, fewest DPs, most walks, most doubles, most triples, most home runs. They led the league in everything.
Well,
And
just look at the.
if they would have had Tom Seaver in '76 instead of '77, that would have been the best team of all time. All they need, if they had a Tom Seaver, I don't think there's any team in any era that could beat them.
You know,
That's how great they were in '76.
there would be a fun project to do. Would be to set up a tournament. And again, but tournaments maybe not so much. But maybe do a 1976 replay and put Seaver on the 76 team
Oh
just to see
boy.
what would happen. I think
Oh
it'd be
boy.
fun. We could set that up and knock that out maybe on one of our set. Just let a season play through.
Oh, that
Pick
would be,
and just
yeah.
just see what happens. Just put season just
Yeah,
put
reverse it. Yeah,
Seaver on.
have the trade happen pre 1976 instead of mid season '77. Sure.
Yeah, not
That's the
Bench's
beauty of
great
playing sim
season.
baseball, is
Look,
doing these experiments.
look at Joe Morgan's
He
1976
he was
season.
fantastic.
Just
Although
a monster, man.
TriFan's talking about how the '98 Yankees dominated the '76 Reds. You talking about like a 4 straight games?
He says they had one weakness that didn't get exposed going against lefties.
Hmm.
They were a nasty team. These 76 Reds. They just were nasty. I think the 75 Reds are just more. It's kind of like like everybody other 1927 Yankees. But I
75 Reds get the publicity because they won more games
I don't
in
think the
the end, and then they
1920s.
faced the Red Sox in the World Series in 5 games. Okay. And then they faced the Red Sox, and it was a great World Series. And you could always run that hypothetical in '75. What if the Red Sox had Jim Rice in the World Series? What would that mean? Instead of Yastrzemski playing left, you'd have Rice, and then you could move Yastrzemski to first and have him there instead of Cecil Cooper. It's it's always was Morgan really weak against lefties? Huh. That could be possible. I'm not sure.
I mean, there was no contest in either league, if you think about it, because look at the Pirates and the Dodgers in 1976.
Oh my God!
Each of
And
them
the
with
Dodgers, the Dodgers were lucky
90,
to win '92. They
right,
weren't
and
that good.
they were not, the Pirates and the Dodgers were 92 and 70 that year. The
Yeah,
Bucks finished 9 back of the Phils,
yeah.
and the Dodgers 10 behind the Reds. I mean, that's just how powerful. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the Phillies. We're talking about the Reds, though. That's just insane, man.
I would say
That's
the Dodgers
insane.
were very lucky to win '92 that year. They were not good in '76. They struggled,
Mm.
and
Well,
but
I'm not
they,
gonna. Yeah, but
you
my
know,
Pirates were still strong, so I'm not gonna say they were
oh,
lucky.
they were still strong. The Pirates were strong throughout the set. I think
Eh,
'76 was the Dodgers' worst year of the decade in terms of
yeah,
how good they were. Even worse than '79. I think the '76 Dodgers were the team that, if you replay the Dodgers of the '70s, that would be the worst team, I think, if you'd replayed them. But you know, not something I've done. Maybe one day. I
so
feel like that wouldn't be a very exciting channel to watch if I just did the Dodgers for a decade. I would have to spread out my teams.
midlife says
But
one thing you have to remember versus lefties. Sparky Anderson would start Bob Bailey. Oops, went away there. Hang on a second. We start
and
Bob
Doug
Bailey,
Flynn,
Doug
yeah,
Flynn, who hammered them, and Bill Plummer, subbing for a banged up bench, crushed lefties. Todd says, if I ever sim a season and the Indians win, I'm going to my local sporting goods store and have a World Series trophy made.
yeah.
So, yeah. So, okay, then here's the other question. Thank you, everybody, for answering that one. Okay. Your heartbreak season. What is the biggest heartbreak season for your team that you would like to replay a season and make it right?
Oh man, you got some time?
I got time.
The Dodgers finished one game out in 1980. They finished one game out in 1982. They finished one game out in 1991.
Hmm.
All those before the wild card, of course. So they didn't get, you finished one game out. Too bad.
You're
Have a
done.
have a
Bye.
good have a good
Yeah.
winter.
Go
Yeah. So
fishing.
that was the way it was. But
Yeah. Yeah.
actually, the one where they finished one game out, I didn't live through it. But '71, they finished one game out into the Giants of all teams. That would be the
Yeah.
one season I'd want to turn around.
There you go.
Even though the Giants were kind of a little bit better than the Dodgers, it's very close. It's a very close match. It's like if you just crunch numbers, they're pretty close, and that would be a fun season.
Joe
That's not
Morgan
bad.
in
That's not bad against
76.
lefties. 260 and 359. It's certainly
Yeah.
against righties. He must have been off the charts good,
Yeah.
but that's not bad. It's
So for me, I mean, this is pretty obvious. Be the 1992
yeah, of course,
NLCS.
of course.
And so somehow you could make the sim have Barry Bonds listen to Andy Van Slyke. That
Mm.
everybody talks about. I mean, hey,
Oh boy, here we go.
Cabrera, yeah. No, I mean Cabrera got his, he got his base hit and stuff, and his little flare that
Yeah.
scored Sid Bream. That hurt, but
Oh,
but Bonds, man, he was just so arrogant. Van Slyke, center fielder, man, center fielder. He's the captain out there. Bonds wouldn't listen, man. And I just, oh my God, that one hurt. That still hurts all these years later. It was
it's
1992.
it's a painful, yeah, it's a
We were
painful
on our
year.
way to the damn World Series in the
Yeah,
ninth
yeah,
inning, and Sid Bream of all people,
yeah.
and a lot of Bucco fans want to say that the plate was close. It was not close. Bream was in there. Lavalier was a millisecond too late in a
No,
millisecond.
no, it wasn't
And
a bad call.
baseball,
Yeah,
no, you know what? It wasn't a bad call. And a millisecond in baseball is an eternity when you've got that much on the
yeah,
line. Sid Bream was in there. It's just he still lives in the Pittsburgh area, and we love
yeah,
Sid Bream. But
yeah. Of
that
course,
1992 defeat, oh my God, did that
it's a
hurt?
heartbreaker. It's a crusher.
Oof,
Yeah, the
yeah.
Dodgers a 62 leadoff center fielder. The Dodgers a 62. That was, but you got to. I mean, that by that time they didn't have Koufax. They
let's
tried
also
to start.
give
They tried to start him, and he got hammered
let's
in that best of three.
Hart, and I know, and you're a good, honest. I mean, you're a good, honest Dodgers fan. I mean, you've even said that 1962 Giants squad.
They were
That was
better.
they were
They were
tough. Oh
better,
my
man.
God, yeah, I love
They
that team. They're a lot of
as
fun to
much as
play.
the Dodgers were damn good, but the Giants were better. I don't. I just got to tell it like it is, man.
Yeah.
When you crunch the numbers on it, any way you look at it, you're like the Giants are better. They're just, and I don't know how they didn't win the World Series. I remember there was a Peanuts comic where Charlie Brown's just kind of sitting there quietly, and finally he bursts out, "Why couldn't McCovey's liner be just a foot higher?" Because that was the end of the World Series in '62. The bases were loaded, I think, and Ralph
Wow.
Terry's on the mound for the Yankees. Willie McCovey's hitting, and he lines out to Bobby Richardson at second base, and
Hmm.
that's the last out of the World Series.
Crash says
Just
the
a nightmare.
84 Cubs Padres, the ball through Leon Durham's legs. If you're a Cubs fan, that's pain, man. It's pain.
Yeah,
It's pain.
especially when the Padres were not a good team that year. They were nowhere near where they ended up. It was a crazy. That was '84 was a really crazy season. There wasn't anybody really good in the National League West, but in that 5 game series, I think that was part of the reason why they switched it to 7 games in the LCS. '84 was the last year they went with best of 5 in the LCS, and I think that was a big reason why.
Tim, you're absolutely right. Tim put up one here. He says, I'll throw in an underrated heartbreak for Cleveland, 1959, neck and neck with the Go-Go Sox.
Hmm.
Late in the season, and then they got swept in a series against Chicago.
Yeah, Crash. Nobody was beating the '84 Tigers.
No, those
Just
84
too.
Tigers were
They were too
incredible.
good.
Yeah, incredible team.
You
Incredible
could say
team.
they could. You could say they should have won more games than they did. That's how good they were.
See, the other one for me would be replay that World Series, Cleveland and Atlanta, because that just
Oh,
only
that,
because
oh,
and
you mean '95?
yeah, I mean only because Ted
Yeah,
Turner had the hubris to call the Braves America's team. It's like, dude, baseball's the national pastime, and they're
yeah.
and as much as I don't like them in Sports Time Machine, forgive me, as much as I don't like the Yankees, if there's a baseball team that can claim to be America's team, which is silly. It would be the New York
Hmm.
Yankees, not the Atlanta
Yeah.
Braves. Give me a break.
We used
And
to
so
lampoon it in the '80s. We used to call them America's worst team, the
America's
Braves.
worst teams, and I think
Mhm.
it's because of Cleveland's proximity to Pittsburgh, and we by that time, 95, of course Bonds is long gone. We weren't the team we were in 92,
No,
and I was rooting really hard for Cleveland, and I would just replay because I
I would
thought
say
the
everybody was almost everybody except for Braves fans. Obviously, were rooting for
yeah
the Indians. 2016, I was rooting for the Indians. I wasn't rooting for the Cubs.
I
I
was
don't know
because
why. I just
I
like the
just
Indians more. I just
I
always
mean
liked the Indians more.
yeah, but I wanted the drought to be over. But again, as I've said many
Yeah,
times before, I'm pretty pissed that nobody gave the White Sox. They had a long drought, but nobody cared. It's like, oh yeah, by the
yeah.
way, the White Sox won.
That's a big
They hadn't
oversight.
won since 1917. Man,
Yep.
holy shit,
It
that's a
was longer
long
than the Red
time,
Sox, but the
longer
Red
than the
Sox
Red
got all the
Sox.
flowers.
Yeah,
The
they
Red
did.
Sox got every conceivable flower you could mention, and the
Yeah,
White Sox got nothing. And it's just like a little blur. Even Ken Burns baseball, they talked about it for 10 seconds.
yeah,
And then it was like, okay, you're done. We're done. And I'm like, you spent 2 hours on the Red Sox in '04. It just,
yeah. And they give
it's
an
just
entire
annoying.
chapter to the 1919 White Sox. I mean, I get it, right?
I think the reason
But
for it was because the Red Sox beat the Yankees in the league championship, and the Yankees are just
yeah.
they're the Yankees, man. That's what people. Oh, the Yankees. People tune into that because
Okay,
of their
here's
notoriety.
next question, family. What would you say would be for all the replays that you've done or you've seen other people do or whatever? What would you say is the most overplayed season replay projects that people have done? And this isn't meant to be like don't mention names. I'm just saying what do you think has been like? Okay, yeah, look, we've seen that 100 times before, or we've heard about that. What do you think?
I see the
Uh,
Cubs. The Bears has made his appearance known.
thank
Nobody should
God.
care about the White Sox. I sure don't.
That
I
all
don't
right.
blame you. I don't blame you, brother.
A lot of love there between North and South. All right,
No
so
love lost.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're just gonna leave. Yeah, I'm especially not gonna mention it this year as one of those Chicago teams is in first place. That's all I'm gonna
Mm.
say.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna
But
say.
you know the Cubs might have the MVP.
Yeah,
Bro
yeah.
Armstrong's having a heck of a season. I don't I haven't crunched
I
the
would
numbers, so I
love
don't know whether he.
them to catch the Brewers. I just don't think that's happening this year. I don't see it.
I don't either, but they'll be in the playoffs. They'll be. We'll
Oh,
see what happens.
The Cubs,
Yeah,
yeah.
of
Oh
course they're
yeah,
going to
yeah,
go
yeah,
in. So we'll see what happens. But
yeah.
I haven't crunched the numbers between Crow Armstrong and Otani. I'm not sure, but
Hmm.
Crow Armstrong has a good case, even with Otani's pitching.
Cubs
I
Bears
think he.
says any Red Sox season
Yeah,
is always overplayed.
I was going to say the '78 Red Sox. The '78 Red Sox weren't really played a lot. The
Crash says
60s,
1965 season would get
the,
his vote as the most
the
overplayed.
'67 Red Sox are played a lot.
I would say set the 1974 season also, even though it's
Mm,
fun, but it's kind of like, yeah,
'75 World Series
75
'75 Red
definitely.
Sox.
Yep, yep.
Um, it's tough to say what's the most that's overplayed. I mean, we have a lot of Red Sox fans in the community, and
Yeah, they still dominate the community. They do.
hmm
And one
and
of them is my partner in crime, Bernie Strom. So, you
yeah,
know.
boy, I tell you, what a knowledgeable Red Sox fan.
What's
Um,
that?
what a knowledgeable Red Sox fan he is, and a guy who's lived through a lot of it.
Yes.
And I would love to hear more of his opinions on stuff.
So
I
do I.
I get that he's reporting the facts, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's the same thing if I had any quibble with Vin Scully whatsoever, it was that he didn't offer his opinion very often. And I
No, he
thought,
didn't.
maybe you should talk about what you think because you've seen so much baseball. You have a lot to offer. And I think that how much baseball Bernie's seen in his life, he has a
Mm.
lot to offer.
Well,
And
I got to hear
oh,
some of Bernie's opinions on that. And I hadn't known this before. So he was talking about the 1967
mhm.
Red Sox, right? The
Yep,
Impossible
the
Dream team.
Impossible Dream. Oh
And,
yeah.
and he said pretty much the first half of the season, nobody, like the press didn't give a damn. Like that, he said there's just absolute apathy.
Yeah.
Because I had
I
always
I
just
believe it because they
imagined,
were so bad. They struggled for so long before that. So
yeah,
everybody was like,
yeah,
"Oh, it's just they're going through a phase. It's not going to last."
yeah. Well, it was a hell of
Uh,
it was a hell of a team.
yeah,
Um,
but they didn't. They had no idea, like probably even mid-season, that this was going to end up being such a race. Number one, and number two, that the Red Sox would win it. I
yeah,
think that they were just like, they'll fade.
the
They'll
fate,
fade when the
yeah,
time comes because they'd always faded before, but
yeah.
when they won, that turned a lot of people's opinions around.
Leadoff center field, still thinking about most overplayed season. Cool.
Um,
Because I mean, there is. I mean, for what? So the National League is 150 years old this year, and the American League is
that's right.
125.
Yep.
And but it's like those. It just seems like that there's like these 10 seasons that are just those are the ones,
Yeah.
and I wonder how many
I wish
great
'08
seasons
got
we
played a
missed.
lot more, but I don't.
You mean
It's hard to get
2008 or
people.
1908?
I
Which
mean,
one?
1908, not 2008.
Oh, well, it was mentioned on Bernie's broadcast earlier. Like
2008's
some
pretty
people
fun,
saying,
but
really,
yeah,
really
1908.
miss you, really miss doing baseball or doing dead
Hmm.
ball baseball, and I mean
Yep.
I miss it too, but
Yeah.
it's really it's challenging
It's
because I
hard to
know
get
that
people excited about it.
part of yeah
Yeah.
because a lot there's going to be a lot of and that was a great pennant race, but not a lot
Hmm.
of people. I think more people are going to be more familiar with another great one, 1941 or 1949, but 1908, that's going to be for like dead ball heads, pretty
Hmm.
much, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but it's a great one. But I will say this of the dead ball seasons, um, I've seen more people do 1908 than I've seen,
Yeah,
say,
for sure.
1906, for instance, which
Hmm.
was, wow, what a
Hmm.
World Series that one was.
What a season
Um,
that was.
1906, yeah.
Yeah, the Cubs season. Obviously, they lost the World Series, but they won 116 games, lost just 36.
To
That's
the
an
hitless
amazing.
wonders, to the
It's an
hitless
amazing
wonders.
record. But they
And they
didn't win the World Series,
and they
obviously.
weren't even the North Siders yet, the Cubbies.
Mm,
They were in the West
yeah.
Side, baby.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah, I mean, a lot of people, that's great trivia that that park was built for the Federal League
yeah, that's the
Chicago
only
team,
one.
the
It's the only one.
Chi-Feds.
Yeah.
And yeah, not a lot of people know that. But
Yeah.
that's something that happened over 100 years ago. Now it's 110, 111 years ago. But
Hmm.
I mean, if there's 150 years, that's just a lot. That's a huge base of history to work with.
It really is.
Um, So
Midlife
that's
Crisis
your
says
combinations are infinite.
he says can't put my finger on one anymore. Says every season is available now through dozens
Hmm.
of engines. And he says creators aren't pigeonholed anymore. Usually, you ever play season of the one that's the newest. He says, the Cubs and
Yeah,
Bears says actually the Dickless Wonders. Talk about the 1806 White Sox.
yeah, not really. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's
yeah, a lot of creators do want to get that midlife crisis. You're right to get that new season,
yeah.
right, get it up there. Oh, I'm the first one to have
Yep,
2020.
yep.
Well, people will be saying that next year, 2026. And if there's no baseball next year, it's going to be kind of fun to watch and see who does start their 2026 replay. Because I still don't think there's going to be baseball. I hate to be a bellwether of doom, but I don't think we're going to have a season next year. So,
Somebody asked me like, "You're gonna
yeah,
miss it so much, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Not really. Maybe a little."
I
I
will.
don't,
I will.
I don't watch it. I know the girl will miss it. She likes to
Hmm.
watch today's baseball, and that's who I watch the games with this year. I watch with her. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't watch baseball this year that much. I would stick with Sims and past seasons, and
Well, she's a
I just
keeper then, damn it.
yeah, well, I
She's a
knew that a
keeper.
long time ago. Like I said, it was our anniversary weekend, 14 years together, and
How many
it's
years?
been the bet 14, and it's been
Wow.
the best relationship I've ever been a part of or
Oh,
heard of.
good for you,
So
man.
yeah, I'm one of the fortunate ones. I guess I overachieved, you would say.
I
But
like I like midlife crisis's comment here. He says that'll
yeah,
be the one great thing that will come from a lockout. YouTube will explode with content. Yeah, it'll
I
go
hope so.
nuts. It
I
will
hope
go
so.
nuts. Everybody will be working overtime. Got to fill in the gap. I'm gonna miss baseball just because it's there's no to me just the idea because the years that we had the lockouts or the strikes or what
Hmm.
have you, somehow just I can't I there's never been in any baseball fan's life a summer where there's been no I mean, okay, 1981, yeah, there was a work stoppage, but I'm talking about there's never been a year in anybody's memory and indeed in history where there's never been a baseball season.
You're right,
And
Tim. I'm out kicking my coverage. I am. Yeah.
you know, Scully
And
would
Vince
often
Scully,
state they say this or
yeah.
that about a player's abilities rather than give his own opinion.
And that's
He
part
would
of why I love
refer to
Vince Scully
evidence.
because he was so deferential and he was so humble. But I just wish he would. He had stuff to offer, and every time he gave a little bit of his opinion on something, I cherished that. I loved it. I was like, that's what I would love to hear Vin give his opinion on managers' decisions, on strategy. What do you think? He was a big proponent of the bunt. Vin loved bunting,
Hmm.
and he liked putting on plays. I think he was a little ball fan, which that makes sense. I mean, it's a different era. And I know the Dodgers won a lot with little ball in the 60s because they had that pitching staff they had. And they played in a big ballpark that didn't permit many home runs.
Right.
And they had to play that way. The
Hmm.
Astros of the 70s and early 80s, they had to play little ball because the Astrodome was a pitcher's paradise. And they had great pitchers on that team. They had Nolan Ryan, they had Don Sutton, they had Bob Nepper. They had great pitchers. They had J.R. Richard before that, before the stroke. What a horrible stroke of luck there. I mean, sorry,
Yeah,
I
I know.
got to use
Yeah,
a
no,
swear.
no, I get you. Right. Yeah.
What a horrible luck to have that happen. Um, 81 playing the 81 Astros playing the full season. I think Astro fans would love 81. They were a great team that year. A lot of people played the Reds in 81, trying to, well, they had the best record. Well, a lot of that was because the Dodgers didn't have to win in 81 in the second half.
Didn't
They
hear
they could
about that, Tim.
they could hit the brakes.
That's really cool. He says, by the way, you're about the 72-year-old that got to call an inning for the Phillies this past week. Did a really good job. That's
Good.
really cool that the Phillies did that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Maybe other clubs will pick that up. Why not? I think that'd be great. I did not hear about that, Tim. I'll have to go back and sort of read about that. That's really cool. Getting fans engaged. So, yeah, I mean, okay.
He had to pay 22 grand to do it. Holy cow.
Oh, well, okay. No,
Quite a price
that's
tag. I
okay.
thought they just invited him on.
Oh no, okay, that's a dick move then. Sorry. Okay, so Phillies, you suck, but I'm glad that
Yeah.
this guy got to do it. 22,000? No, come on,
Wow.
get out of here.
The
Should
Cubs,
be.
the Bears, Vin is the best. He's the best that I've ever heard. And I think a lot of people would say he was the best. He knew when to let the crowd take over in a moment. He didn't talk over it like some other guys I know. Howard Cosell.
Oh,
Like
look,
some
come on.
guys.
Let's let's
Some
face it,
guys talked over the moment, but Vin
as
never did.
Thomas Boswell famously wrote in his 100 Reasons Why Baseball's Better Than Football, he said Howard Cosell was football's best commentator and Howard Cosell was baseball's worst. And he was. He was awful.
I think that's fair to say.
He
Yeah,
knew he was shit with baseball, man.
yeah.
Midlife says that he says 81 killed me. So he lived in the boonies. The only thing he had that summer was a Saturday game of the week and Monday night and Thursday
Hmm.
night baseball on ABC. Probably when my tabletop baseball exploded. Yeah. So, I for it was for Phillies charity. Okay,
Uh,
then the Phillies are cool again. All right, I thought the
okay.
Phillies were just being dicks.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. I'm glad that money didn't go to the Phillies, but to a
Okay, all
charity.
right. So, all right,
Mhm.
then I applaud the Phillies. All right, I'll give them that. I thought it was like, yeah, pay 22 grand, you can call it an inning. I'd be like, yeah, Vakfans gusto nada. Not gonna
I will
happen.
say that Cosell was great backing Reggie Jackson, but the thing about it was Reggie had such a terrible league championship series that year against the Royals.
I don't
Fortunately,
know.
his Yankee teammates picked him up, and they won that league championship.
I don't know.
Um,
You know what? I'll say one thing about Cosell. He was friends with John Lennon, so there we go. They
mhm.
were buddies. They
And
were
Muhammad
buddies.
Ali.
And wow, yeah,
Yeah.
greatest boxer of all time.
I think,
Now
yeah,
I'm gonna
I
start
think
some
he
shit
is.
on that, but Ali, the
No, I
greatest
think
of
he's
all
up there with
time.
anybody. I don't think he needs to take a backseat to anybody. There are other guys
Oh yeah,
who belong in that
Frazier,
category.
Marciano, but yeah,
Hmm.
but Cosell in baseball. Oh my God,
It was
jeez,
tough.
it's
It was
just not
tough.
good. Just not good. Just not good.
I mean, you even see it today when they show the old Monday night games on YouTube. I
Yeah.
would much rather listen to Bob Uecker and Don Drysdale and Keith Jackson
Mm-hmm.
and Keith Jackson's voice. I love Keith Jackson's voice, man. What a great voice.
Yeah.
Just the way he presented games and he's great.
Well, you
So
know what? Those days are over, though, brother.
they are.
The great broadcasters.
Yes, they
That's
are.
it.
They are.
But
I agree.
somebody has argued, and I think there's certainly merit to the argument that a lot of the great broadcasters that we're talking about here, they were radio broadcasters, so they had to be
Yep.
vivid.
Yep.
You know,
You got to be better.
but you got to ask yourself, how do you and that maybe that answers the question of how do you go from Jack Buck to Joe Buck?
I don't think Joe's that bad. I think he's one of the better ones.
Oh,
I
oh,
do. I do.
oh! You just made my pancreas implode. Really? Oh my
I
God, brother!
I think he's one of the better ones. Now again, you're grading on a curve. If he was active decades ago, he wouldn't be one of the greatest. But
Oh,
Scully's bios were the greatest thing. They showed a thing where
yeah.
he was calling a game where Freddie Freeman in his rookie year, and he broke down Freddie Freeman's life up to that point, and that's fantastic. That's what Vince Scully did for so many guys, and we missed that when we lost him. Now with Joe Davis, you never hear any of that stuff, and it makes me sad that we don't have that. But that was Vin. Vin did his work. He did his homework, and he had a great quote. I can't remember who first said this quote, but Vin repeated it. And he said, have the humility to prepare, but have the confidence to pull it off. And that's what he had. That's what Vin Scully had. He had that humility, but he could pull it off. He could bring what he studied and the homework he did to life in the
Oh yeah.
broadcast
In an
better than
era
anybody I've ever seen.
of great broadcasters, he was the greatest. And I say this, because I mean Bob Prince was a hell of a
Hmm.
broadcaster, Ernie
Very good.
Harwell and Jack Buck and
Yep.
all these guys. But
Harry Callis.
Harry
Yeah.
Callis, but
Hmm.
I mean Scully. I mean that's I've said to you before,
Yeah.
and look, you just had a Cubs fan even call him the greatest, right?
We talk about it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
Yep.
Dan Burke, my favorite Irishman. He says, "Don't forget, Scully worked by
Yeah.
himself for years." Yeah,
He's a one man show, and you just won't find that anymore.
but that's
There's
the
always
thing.
got to be
So
more than one.
Vin didn't need a color guy.
No, he didn't.
He
He was his own color
seamlessly
guy.
he was
Yeah.
color, he was play by play,
Yeah. He
and
did everything.
he was
Yep.
flawless, man.
Yeah.
I dare say the greatest baseball broadcaster. Period. Just period.
And I mean, in his 80s, he was lucid. He wasn't as lucid as he was before, but he was still lucid enough to do it just about better than anybody else, even in his 80s. It's pretty fantastic. He was
I
doing it in his
mean,
90s, actually.
I mean, I know we've talked about it to death, but if I were to introduce somebody to baseball, and in terms of one of the first things I would do would would have that person watch Scully's call of the Gibson
Mhm.
home run. That encapsulates Vin Scully. It really does.
Well, he had a
Be-
great call
oh
with
my God.
Buckner's there.
Yeah, of course, of
There's so many
course.
great calls that he
Right.
had. That Hank Aaron's 715th home run
Yeah.
was a very good call. There's so many of those, but for me, it was always just some random game. He made any random game fun to
Yeah.
listen to. It was always fun to listen to. You never got bored.
But today's media doesn't permit that.
It's
It
just a
just
different
doesn't.
it's a different game today. It's
Yeah.
different. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's better either, but
I
so
mean,
I'm grading on a curve. When you say guys today, yeah, Joe Buck's good. When you say in the past, obviously he's not. You
well, I
just
mean,
compare to those guys.
so where I'm comparing Joe Buck, I'll tell you who I would compare him to. The guy I'm about to mention, you'll probably be able to figure this out. Who I think is leagues, light years ahead of him is John Miller. John
John
Miller is a
Miller's John Miller's fantastic.
fine
Definitely,
broadcaster.
no question he's better than Joe Buck. No question. I would never argue that.
Yeah. Dan Burke saying
Unfortunately, I don't
his
get to hear him as
greatest.
much as I would like to, but that's just the way
Well,
it is.
I missed. I'm telling you guys, man, I missed John Miller. Of course, Joe
Hmm.
Morgan. Now may his memory be eternal. But John Miller, Joe
Yeah,
Morgan, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. It was just. It was that was it, man. It was manna from heaven.
I
Although
like.
it was
Yeah,
cool because Joe Morgan called out John Miller on a broadcast. I don't know if you remember this, but John Miller, of course, a huge baseball fan. He's a Strat
yeah.
player, I think, or something. But John Miller was talking about something, made some reference to American football. And right on ESPN, Joe Morgan says, "John, this is baseball season now."
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I'm like, "Go, Joe!" That was kind of the only gaffe, but John Miller could do a mean Vince Scully impersonation though
Yeah, he
too.
could.
It's
He
good.
could.
Yeah, big John Miller fan. So Orioles fans, you got a hell of a broadcaster there. But you know what? I'll tell you another guy I think is better than way better than Joe Buck,
Mm.
and didn't get national attention was Lanny Fratteri with the Pirates. Milo Hamilton also. There is a fine
I
broadcaster.
know Milo Hamilton. I don't.
Now Milo's a little bit more old school, but Lanny Fratteri was a hell of a broadcaster.
I've never heard of him. I'm
Lanny
sorry.
Fratteri, yeah, Pirates broadcaster.
Hmm.
He was good, good, good. But again, none of these guys are Vin Scully level,
Another
or
guy I want
even
to mention that I
whatever.
discovered in baseball, classic baseball on the radio, that great YouTube channel,
Mm.
um, is Lindsey Nelson of the Mets. I want to give
Lindsey
him a
Nelson,
shout out because
yeah,
I loved his work. I remember the first broadcast I heard from him, and I said, "Who is this guy?"
yeah.
And I said, "This guy's incredible," and it was Lindsey Nelson. And I remember commenting on it. I said, "I did not know how great Lindsey Nelson was," and people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, he was remarkable." Yeah, Rachel
How
Robinson just
about
keeps
it?
trucking.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a
God
treasure.
bless her. God
Yeah,
bless
she's a
her,
treasure.
and God grant her many, many more years. One of that's isn't she one of the greatest stories, not just in baseball, but just in American history. You and you,
Baseball is so lucky to have her
the
still
world,
alive.
the world is lucky to have her. And I mean, imagine the strength, because
Yeah,
we give Jackie all this love, but
yeah,
Rachel was the rock.
mhm,
You know, I
yeah.
mean, you think about the things that
She
Jackie
should
went
never be
through.
forgotten. But
Especially in Philadelphia. I mean, it was bad, and there was
yeah,
Rachel there for him. And what
yep,
an amazing woman. And to me, as much of a hero as you know, Coretta Scott King. I mean, I really do. I mean, because everybody
yeah.
we know Dr. Martin
No, for
Luther
sure.
King,
She's part of
but
American
let's
history. Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
and
I
and
would
then there,
love to, what a privilege it would be, JT, to
yeah.
sit down and talk to Rachel, even just for an
I
hour. I would
mean,
just
my
listen.
goodness.
Wouldn't that be something?
I mean, it would be the same way I told you that it's
Phew.
like if I got a chance to talk to Buck O'Neill, I would just want to sit there and smile while he talked.
Oh
That's all I
man,
want to do.
yes. I
So
Do you know
when
what
I
I
first saw
want?
Rachel in the '80s, I
Yeah,
was like, "Who is that?" And my dad's like, "That's Jackie Robinson's wife." I said, "Really?"
yeah,
And she's beautiful. She's
yeah.
graceful and she's very
Oh
pleasant to
yeah,
talk to.
yeah.
I was quite taken with her, and I still am.
Oh yeah.
And baseball, like I said, yes, as Americans, we're lucky to have her, but baseball is very lucky. to
Oh
have
yeah.
those two people in part of their history, and she's been such an ambassador for it, and I'm happy. I just hope she's happy. I hope she's not living a sad life or she's upset about any. I just hope she's enjoying her days.
You
It
know, I
seems
don't
like
think
she
she
is.
is. Yeah,
It's
she doesn't.
she
She's.
seems like she is happy, and I really hope she is.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
That's one person that I'm just very proud that she's part of the history of baseball, and she absolutely deserves to be.
Yes, she does.
I'm not saying like not as much should be written about her as Jackie, obviously, but I think that it should be very close. I think people should very much acknowledge what
Dan
what
Burke
her role
says
is in the history.
Tom Hamilton of Cleveland is one of the greatest radio announcers and still working today. Hall of Fame 2025. John Sterling of the Yankees for all those years. Susan Waldman too with Sterling.
John Sterling is one of my most emotional moments he's responsible for. When the Dodgers won the World Series in 2024, you know Sterling's call, he would say, "The Yankees win, game over, World Series over, the Yankees win." He said that about the Dodgers when they won the 2024 series, and it was his last broadcast in his career. He said,
Wow.
"Game over, World Series over, the Dodgers win." And I said, "I I'm never going to see that. I'm never going to hear that again. I'm so glad I heard that." And for him to do that, his trademark call, and to say that with the Dodgers in there
That's
was
pretty huge,
something I'll never
yeah.
forget. And I
Leadoff
was,
brings up something fun. So we're going from Vin Scully, who would not offer his opinion, to a man who would offer his
yeah,
opinion to anybody to listen, Harry Carey.
offering his opinion too much too. There's a fine line, but
Well, that's what I mean.
he angered a
Harry,
lot of
you know,
he angered a lot of guys with his
he did.
opinion.
He did.
But that's Harry was part of what made the White Sox so cool in the late '70s.
Yeah, but I
They
mean,
were
you know what?
they were
I
such a cool team.
I admire that, and this is not to take anything away from Vin. Vin was Vin, man. But
Yes,
you know,
I know what
I
you're gonna say.
admired
Yeah,
like guys like Ernie Harwell, Bob Prince,
yeah,
Harry
I do
Carey.
too.
They
I
would
do
call
too.
out the clubs. I mean, Bob
I
Prince got fired. Ernie
yeah.
Harwell got fired. You know,
They were two sides of the same coin. Vin was that side, and they were the other side. And
exactly.
I
It,
mean, I think what I love is that these guys' love for baseball, love for broadcasting, shone through in what they did.
yeah.
Truly, Harry Carey loved what he did. At least that's what I got. That was the impression I got
Oh
from
yeah.
and the White Sox were just so damn cool with him in the booth. Him and Jimmy Pearsall and Nancy
Mm.
Faust on the organ. They were just a cool team. Their jerseys were unlike anybody else's. They had Bill Veeck. That was just a fun team. Cool as hell. Their
Well, you know.
ballpark was cool at that time. They had the disco demolition night, and that
Oh
was
God.
cool. It just
Yeah.
they were just a cool. They were way cooler than the Cubs. And then they let Kerry go to the uh, the 1982. I mean 1982, I think it was. He went to the Cubs.
The Cubs Bear says he despised Harry Carey, but he did like Will Ferrell's impression of him.
Oh, with Will Ferrell. Oh my goodness.
Will Ferrell's brilliant. Dan Burke says Tom
I can't
Paciorek and
stand him.
Hawk Harrelson were hilarious together for the White Sox in the '90s. Hawk and Wimpy.
Uh,
He did have
I
that down home sound lead off. You know, it's sort of like you're going again back into the vein of guys like Red Barber from the Brooklyn Dodgers, who I mean Vince Scully kind of had his tutelage under
Red
just as
Barber,
much
of course.
as Bob
Yeah.
Prince did under Rosie Rosewell, who from whom I stole "Open the Window, Aunt Minnie." By the way, that's not my
Yes.
original. Yeah,
Yes.
but hey, if you're gonna
He's
steal from the best.
Yeah,
So
if you're gonna,
yeah,
yeah, it's imitation is the highest form of flattery.
don't you love that story though, that Vince Scully tells? And he said it was just like this routine game at Ebbets Field, and the thing
Uh-huh.
with Hilda Chester, and
Oh yes.
it's
Yes.
right. The Dodgers,
I love you,
Vin
Vin.
Scully. I love
Yeah.
you, Vin
Yeah.
Scully.
And he looks down and he's like, "Don't you look down when I'm talking to you. Look at me when I'm talking to you." Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
how
God.
intimate Ebbets Field was, that you could hear her in center field yelling at him. Like you couldn't do that today in center field.
No.
It's a different game today. But I wanted to say, yeah, I think it was the old redhead, Red Barber lost him. I think he was the old redhead. That
Yeah,
was
he's the
his.
old redhead.
And
Yep.
he had those great expressions. They were in the tall cotton.
Yep.
You know, oh doctor, I think he was the first guy to say that. Maybe Of course, the Al Gianfrido play on Joe DiMaggio, where
Yes.
they
Yep.
made that play.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I mean, you couldn't imagine a better guy to take over from. And he didn't want Vin to copy him, but develop his own sound. But
And
what
he
a great
definitely did.
mentor! What a
Oh
great
yeah.
mentor for him.
Bob Prince's
So,
job in the or in the early days under Rosie Rosewell is so if a pirate hit a home run, it would be like broken glass. And Bob they had like glass there, and
mhm,
so it was Bob Prince's job to, as Rosie Rosewell was making the home run call, to break a pane of glass. So I guess and Ernie Harwell got traded for a catcher. Did you know
did
that?
he get
For
traded? No, I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah. So he was there was a catcher. I guess he was. I think Harwell was the Atlanta Crackers or something like that. And so the big club traded the for
Wow.
Ernie Harwell for a catcher or something like that. Yeah. So, but
How about that?
on the older versions of Baseball for Windows, and I wish that John Herson would put that back in. There were these great interviews that they did with Ernie Harwell that came on the disc for Baseball for Windows. This was like version 3.5. And Ernie Harwell's talking about Vin Scully and Marty Brenneman and
Hmm.
Bob Prince and Rosie Rosewell. And it was so amazing to just listen to this great broadcaster talk about that golden age and these great broadcasters. And I wish John
Yeah.
Herson would put that back in. It's just the only way I could get you guys to probably hear it is to put a virtual machine on here and run an older version of Baseball for Windows
Hmm.
because it's incredible to listen to. It really is. Yeah, but man, back to Buck O'Neill.
Yeah.
We've talked about how the Hall of Fame snubbed him.
Yes.
I hope that Buck somehow will know, because there's no way my arse is ever getting to heaven. There are not too many Irish Italians up there. So, but if I could, I would like to say, you know what, Buck, we love you, man. We
Yeah,
always do,
I think he was aware. I hope so. Yeah. How could you not love Buck O'Neill? I don't know how that's possible. He didn't seem to have any bitterness in him. I know he was hurting
Yeah.
that he didn't get elected, but
Traded for a bag of baseballs. I don't know who that is. I know it was an Atlanta Crackers. It was a catcher for Ernie Harwell, but the bag of I wouldn't be. That would be fun to research. Should probably look into that. See what announcer was traded for a bag of baseballs.
was the announcer that the Cubs announcer that said, "Hey, hey, Jack Brickhouse," with the home runs that I remember he broadcasted that 23-22 game that the Cubs had in 1979 with the Phillies. And
Could you? Wow.
I
That
think Dave Kingman hit 3 home runs in that game, and Mike Schmidt hit 3 home runs.
that would have been a
And
fun game to
yeah,
to
I think it
attend,
was
huh?
Jack Brickhouse that said, "Hey, hey," on the home runs, and everybody's kind of had their own call of home runs. We don't see that so much anymore.
No,
But
it's I mean, a lot, guy that was controversial for a lot of people, but I liked because he tried to inject all this good stuff back.
yeah, it was
And to
Brickhouse.
and I know I'm going to get some backlash on this, was Chris Berman. I was a Chris Berman fan
I
because
I
the one
don't I
thing,
liked I liked Berman.
I
I
mean,
didn't have a
Berman. So
problem with
there's,
him.
bringing. I mean, I know they were silly nicknames, but the thing
Mhm.
is back in the old days, every player had nicknames, just like mobsters did, right?
Yeah, no, it was fine. I thought it was fine, and a lot of them still last, like the crime dog for Fred McGriff. That
Yeah,
was Berman's invention.
yeah,
He invented a lot of them, and I enjoyed it. I think it was I would always kind of like when a rookie came in the league. I wonder what nickname Berman's going to give him.
exactly.
I never really had a problem with it. I thought he was fine. I didn't.
Cubs
I mean, I
Bears
thought the
says,
back thing was kind of played out after a while. I didn't really enjoy it after a while.
yeah,
But I think it was one of those things that was nice when it started, but then it got played so it's like a song that's a really good song, but when you play it a million times, it
yeah.
starts to lose its effect. And
So I didn't know Jack Brickhouse called "The Catch" in 1954 by Willie Mays. I didn't know that. Hmm.
or Be Home by Blyleven. Yeah. Yeah.
By Lennon. Yeah.
Baseball Demos, David Baseball Demos uses that. He uses quite a few Bermanisms, which
Well,
is nice to hear.
David is our own. He's kind of our own Chris Berman. He is. He's in the community. John Mayberry, RFD. So what? Yeah, these Bermanisms. These are fun. These are fun.
Yeah, well, that was if you're a '90s baseball fan. you in the 80s, even late 80s,
Yeah.
you would hear a lot of that. But I remember watching Sports Center in the 90s. I didn't get cable until the 90s, so I don't, as far as before that, I don't know very much. But and like I think I mentioned to you before, the Cubs were hangover baseball because they always had the day games,
Yeah.
most of the day games, and that was coming off a Saturday night where it might have been a little overserved. And
And yet they
Sunday,
had
you got or Saturday afternoon, you got to hear the Cubs.
so
Mark Carey on my wayward
their
son.
son.
That's
Yep,
good.
that's a great one.
Excellent. That's a
Yeah, yeah, he
Bermanism
tries.
for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, that's very good.
yeah, but the Cubs
Right on.
had they had everything to do night baseball, and they donated it all to the war effort.
Yes, yes.
So what was it? What
Mark
was the day? Was it
Tossalis.
today? It was yesterday. I think it was. In
Yeah,
1946, all the teams in the National League played a night game. It was the first time that happened. All the games were at night, and
yeah,
I believe it was August 8th, 1946. Isn't that cool?
yeah. It is.
That's cool.
Signals. That signals the beginning of modern, what I believe to be modern
Mark
baseball.
Tossalis. Yeah.
Yes, I remember Mark Salas, catcher for the Twins.
You know the
At least
sad thing
the
is though
Twins,
is that
most of his career, he might have went somewhere else too.
I know we're like a bunch of old dudes here and stuff, but you know what? The 20-something baseball fans, they're right because okay, like we never got to hear Red Barber or Rosie Rosewell, but we got
Yeah,
to hear some great broadcasters, certainly
of
Vin
course.
Scully. But these guys haven't gotten to hear any, but right, so they can go on either classic baseball on the radio on YouTube or to the Internet Archive. But it's like, how do you get these guys? Like, you got to know what we're talking about. We're not just a bunch
Yeah.
of old fogies here. These were great baseball broadcasters, and they pulled you into the game, and they made that transition to television just fun. John
I think,
tonight, let it be. Long.
yeah, now that's one of my favorites, and that wasn't a Bermanism. They were saying that before Berman was known by people. But Wally Absorbing Joiner, that's 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 very good.
There's some good
Yeah,
ones,
there's no
man.
question. Yeah, John,
John,
I am
I
not
am
a
not
crook.
a crook.
Mm,
Yep.
yes, we could go on a long time with this. He had names for everybody, almost everybody,
Yeah.
which was nice. I mean, I don't know, it was entertaining to watch Baseball Tonight, and Baseball Tonight was a great show.
Well, I mean, you know,
I always tuned in.
because still the greatest nickname in all of baseball, though, was a guy from the 19th century,
Oh, is that
Bob
the
Death
flying
to
thing?
Flying Things
Yeah,
Ferguson. That is the
I knew you were gonna say
I
that.
have to, man. It's the greatest nickname in baseball. I mean, you are Death to Flying Things. How cool
Yeah,
is that, right? I mean,
yeah.
you're the Beatles before there ever was the Beatles. Right there, Bob Ferguson, otherwise forgotten to baseball history, has the greatest nickname ever.
Yes, it's a great nickname.
But what about some other ones? Old Aches and Pains for Luke Appling.
Yes, yes, great.
Old Aches and Pains. Of course,
I don't
Babe
know. I
Ruth
think
had more nicknames than anybody,
my
but
favorite nickname is a guy from the '70s, John Monofusco. He was the Count of Monofusco,
County
or
Monte Frisco, yeah.
the Count Monofusco, and I
Yep.
thought that, well, what a great nickname. That's fantastic,
Yeah.
and it's been one of my favorites, probably my favorite over the years. Even though he pitched for the Giants when he got it, but that's just the
Yeah.
way it goes sometimes.
Well, even if you weren't a fan, I mean, you gotta admit, Oil Can Boyd. I mean, Oil
Oil
Can.
Can Boyd,
That is a great
great,
nickname.
great, great nickname.
Dick Dr. Strangeglove Stewart. Yeah.
You know,
So, what? I mean, like, there's no
yeah.
nicknames anymore. It's
Carl
like,
Erskine
you
being
know,
Oisk to kind of lampoon Brooklyn fans'
Oisk. Yep.
accents. Yeah.
Well, that's also the same with the Wayner brothers, actually.
Mhm.
So their
Mhm.
nicknames not only because they were both superb fielders, then they were poison to hitters, but they were called poisons in
Dan
Brooklyn.
Burke, the Incredible Hulk, Brian Downey. That guy had one of the most interesting careers if you really look at it. That's a fascinating career that guy had.
Yeah.
Because you look at him when he came up with the White Sox when they were still wearing the red pinstripes, and he kind of looked like a butterball. And then he went from that to look like the Incredible Hulk. Like he was
Yeah.
muscles everywhere, and it's a fascinating career. I don't know how great of a guy he was but he had a fascinating career, and great California Angel. Uh, let's let me think of. I always like. I don't. You guys know Greg Nettles was Puff because he would say something and then he'd be gone when things started getting testy. He would be poof, puff. He would be gone.
Poof, yeah.
Downing played a long time. The Angels were fools to release him in 1990 or 91, one of those 2 years. They were fools to let him go.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, why did the nickname stop? I wonder why.
Mm.
You know?
I think people just didn't want to get insulted in their nickname, and especially in the 30s, nicknames got pretty nasty. I think losing pitcher Mulcahy was a nickname that wasn't really deserved because Mulcahy pitched for a bad team.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I mean, I would say, I
Not
would
all
just
not all nicknames were the big train or the big six.
exactly.
You
I mean,
know,
come on.
you
I
know.
mean, yeah. I mean, well, of course, you're the
hmm
best of the best. You're going to get those nicknames,
Right.
but
When you're Babe Ruth, you get 30 of them. You get the Maharaja of Mash and the Sultan of SWAT, and
yeah. For anybody that needs to catch up on that, just watch The Sandlot. I think they go through the whole
yeah,
litany.
yeah.
Yeah, fun stuff, man. And I bet you they had to have some great nicknames in the Negro
hmm
leagues.
For sure.
And that would be a fun research project. It would
Yeah.
be you know trying to dive into that, whatever. Appa Baseball has a lot of names in their cards. I was just gonna, yeah,
They do.
Dan, you're right. And you
They
look at the
do.
more modern ones, like if it's somebody's name's Robert, his nickname's Bob. It's like, give me a
Yeah.
break.
Yeah. It's a
I
lot.
mean, it's not Appa's fault. So
Yeah. It isn't. It
the
isn't.
freak Tim Lincecum, yeah.
Yeah. He was. Boy, that was an interesting guy.
But there was so if you were to give nicknames to some modern players, what would you come up with? So you can't bring in Nick or you can't bring in Berman, right? So I mean, God, it's so hard because I can't even like okay like what kind of nickname would I give Paul Skeens? Oh, JT will be back. He usually drops out every once in a while. So wow, some of you are in here. There he is. He's back. Welcome back,
I
brother.
got delogged very rudely.
I didn't do it. I swear. I
No, no,
didn't.
no.
I did not.
It
I
was a
did not.
website. Tim Lincecum was a very fascinating pitcher to watch pitch. That's
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a guy that size to have that kind of a stride. It was pretty freakish. Um,
About a half dozen players with the nickname starting with yeah, those weren't good.
no,
Uh,
not the best.
yeah, like Josh Clark or Jake. Yeah,
hmm
Josh Clark. Yeah. Yeah. So not good. Not good. I
Pumpsy Green was a
agree.
good nickname. There were a lot of good nicknames in
Mm-hmm.
those days.
Yeah. So,
What was the
but
Capital Punisher? Frank Howard was the Capital Punisher. Quite a quite a good
yeah,
nickname.
an app nickname for Hondo, also
Mm,
known as Hondo.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, he was what a massive guy he was.
Yeah, he had his own area code, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jay Clark.
Yeah.
Thank you, Midlife. I didn't know if it was Josh or Jay. Jay Clark. Yeah.
Well, I know the one Godzilla. We all know Hideki Matsui was nicknamed that.
Hmm.
Um, but
Well, I'm sure they would have named Satoharu O that, of course, as well.
probably.
Yeah. So, well, guys, just really quickly, so it's inaccurate to call it a break, but it's accurate to say that pretty much, hopefully, as long as my brother here is willing to do this, we are going to be doing these Sundays, these
Yeah, I'll
baseball
be here.
chats. But
Yeah.
as far as like broadcast frequency, I am taking a break from doing because there for a while I was doing baseball almost every night, and I just don't want people to get like, oh my God, here we go again. So and just it's just time to take a step back and there's a lot of really excellent content creators out there, and you yourselves, even if you don't have a YouTube channel, you're great content creators too with your projects that you talk about in the Discord. So please continue. Please continue. Ichiro, the Silent Warrior. Now, see, that's.
I've never heard that nickname for him.
Oh,
I
well,
know about there's a
yeah.
guy who played in the 19th century named Silent Mike Tiernan.
Silent Mike Tiernan.
But he played for the Giants.
I don't
Smiling
know.
Mickey Welch played for the
Smiling Mickey.
Giants.
Yeah, I
I've
don't
seen,
know, man. I just
yeah,
I want to have a nickname as cool as Death to Flying Things. I'm sorry, I just can't get
yeah,
off it. I just
it's a great nickname.
damn.
It's really good.
Yeah, just gotta love that. And I'm wondering if I should probably look on findagrave.com and see if it says Death to Flying Things on his tombstone, weathered though it might be now. But That's just a great
I
damn
think I need a
nickname.
refresher, but I just wanted to say, and this is not blowing smoke. I mean, but you
I'll
were the
do
guy
that.
that
I'm
I
gonna
was,
have a smoke. I'm gonna have a
you
smoke. Go
you
ahead.
you were the guy that I tuned into first off
Oh,
with
thanks, man.
anybody. But and I'm sad about it, but I respect your decision and what you want to do. It's your channel and your decision to make.
Well,
And
I mean,
I,
it's. I appreciate that. I
but
just,
I always enjoyed you using different games. And again, everybody has their own style. I just I liked that style that you use. I like baseball demos, David's style. There's quite a
oh,
few
he's
styles I
great.
like more than others,
Oh yeah.
and I always have the I think there's something to be said for being predictable
Hmm.
and knowing what knowing what you're gonna get when you tune in.
Here comes the
Um,
bear says breaks are fun. I took one. I think it was called the 70s.
ah,
Well played, my friend. Well played. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know what? I mean, there's so many great guys, doing this stuff in the community.
hmm
Robert and David, and Mike. Sports Time Machine and Bernie. I tell you, a guy I miss is Al Red Sox fan. He's just not doing it as much as he
I do
used
too.
to.
Yeah,
I really miss Al. I,
I do
I miss
too.
him a lot. So Al, damn it, if you ever hear this,
I mean, he obviously, I think he would do it. I think that just life kind of gets in the way,
yeah.
and it's just I don't know, it's just how it works sometimes.
Todd says
But
the Indians have been on break for almost 80 years. Don't do that to us. No, you guys. Oh man. Oh, that's hard. That's. Um, but yeah, it. Believe me, I love what we've all created here. I can't just like walk away from it completely, and I'm not walking away. I'm not tired of you guys. I'm not tired of doing this. I just don't want to be like, it's just same, and I just don't want to do that. But I can't think of anything jazzy and cool, and I don't want to break a promise to this community of putting non-baseball games on here. And I will say I don't have the time to start another channel, so that kind of leaves me to where we are right now. Dan Burke says, I get it, many of us enjoy what we do. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that, because you're my favorite Irishman. He says you bring a lot of games to us, many don't know, and love the baseball. Yeah, Dan and I, man, we're like big baseball for Windows guys. So yeah, we're ambassadors for that excellent game. JT, I'll tell you what, Mike, and I'm going to bring it up. It was your dissertation on Vern Stevens
yeah,
that
I know.
day,
Yeah,
and it was like, yep, I'm glad this guy's around. And here
yeah.
we go.
I just like seeing guys who love baseball, and
Oh, thank you, H. Field.
it's upsetting to not have that as much anymore.
Mm,
But it is again. I mean, it's your decision to make. I respect it.
uh,
You've given there's a lot of videos up there that people can watch
Well,
and
I
listen
should have
to.
I should have you take over this channel. You do it during
Ah,
the week. I'll do it in the weekends.
oh man, I wish
You
I
knew
knew
you
how.
knew I was going to find a
Yeah,
backdoor
and
way to say
I
it.
wish I knew how my weeks were gonna go. They've been
Yeah, yeah,
kind of tricky, and it makes it tough to know what time I'm gonna get on to do anything. And
sure.
it's just it's not easy. I think a lot of people take stuff for granted. It's not easy to go out there and bring it on a nightly basis. It's just not. Some guys can just power through it, like Robert from RJL Network. He just powers through it. He gets it done. He's got his own style that works for him,
And then he
and
takes that he takes that hiatus, which I think is
yeah,
smart.
and he does. Has an off season.
Beatles is not Joan Rivers. the Cubs. I always love when he's here, man, because you just never know what he's going to say, but they're always great comments. No, I mean this is just. I mean it's a break for a while. Um, but at least twice before I took breaks and I didn't tell anybody. I just vanished. It was like
Yep.
gone. 2020, I think,
Yeah, I
was
remember
one
you went on a
year,
hiatus for
and then there
a
was
time.
I think 2022. I think was the other one. I
I
just
got to
was
the
like,
point where I
yeah,
wanted to comment on a video and say, "You all right, man? Just want to make sure you're okay." Do
yeah,
kind of a wellness check. It wasn't
yeah.
so much that you weren't broadcasting. I'm like, "Hey, you got to do what you got to do. You don't. this isn't your job. You don't get paid to do this.
No,
You
and
know, if you could
I
make a
don't.
living, then it'd be one thing, but you don't make a living doing this, you
You know
know.
what? No, those guys that are like the big time YouTubers, like
Yeah,
I couldn't, like a lot of people say, "Oh man, I'd love to." Now,
like it's a dream
if
job. Yeah, yeah,
if this wasn't so niche, right? What we do, um, baseball fanatics that we are,
right. Hmm.
it would be cool, but then I think about what these guys have to do, and when content really is king, and I think of these guys that have, and you guys are family members, but I'm going to use the term subscribers for a moment,
Hmm.
that have subscribers, six figures, seven figures, or even high five figures. And you know what? It isn't just they can just sit around, well, I guess I'll do a video. They have to.
Yeah,
Splattercat Gaming, who is like the source for indie games out there. This guy's knocking out stuff, and he's got the Patreons and his own Discords. And I mean, you're working. It's work, and
it's a
I
job.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, I just like the idea. I want my job to be again. I want to go back to Magic full time. That's what
right.
I want. But
Yeah.
I to do this full time. If I could do it and to be just hanging out like talking to you guys and have somebody different on every night. We just talk baseball. Man, that would be great.
Hmm.
But to just do this, and I start to notice a sameness. It's like it doesn't matter what game I'm calling. I have to make minor adjustments. Like so with Out of the Park Baseball, it's got all these great animations, so I don't have to guess. Then Action
Hmm.
PC, pretty good chalkboard. But when you get down to games that have no animation and things like that, and you're not
Hmm.
quite sure what's going on,
It's
and
tougher.
so you're adjusting on the fly, and
You have to kind of make things happen in your mind and use your imagination
yeah,
to come up with that.
yeah,
Like when you're playing, I mean, nothing against Dana. Game Pulse payoff pitch is doing fine and it's getting better all the time.
it is.
But it's hard when you don't have that animation to. Okay, was that on the left side of shortstop or was it more up the middle? I don't really know. It's something that you kind of have to add to the broadcast. And sometimes it can be harder some nights than it is on other nights. I'll
Well,
just put it that way.
yeah, DeCubs and
Um,
Bears says most people do stupid things in their breaks, like get married. Well, so I mean, I'm gonna be moving to Europe. Moving back to Europe for good, in 4 to 5 months from now, maybe
I envy
sooner,
that.
but yeah.
I envy
So,
that. I
and
would probably
you
move there
know,
myself.
and then getting hand fasted over there, and then probably coming back here if we decide that we're going to get married, which is her idea. Channel's always been about interaction. The game's
Yeah,
always
I
second.
agree, Tim.
Thank you, Todd.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I
Yeah, Todd. I agree, Todd.
so
Sorry.
I would so a little secret, guys. I would not, and I've mentioned it, but like there's times, and Bernie's noticed that except for these chin wags that we do now, my broadcasts have been really getting down to about an hour lately, a lot.
Hmm.
And I would always feel bad because I thought, okay, people really wanted me to concentrate on the game. But I would notice what happened at the end. It was like somebody would come in and say hello, or they would make some comment about a project that they were doing. And that's when it started to set in on me. I'm like, God, this isn't what I meant it to be. And I always felt bad that it was like, oh my God, if you're still here, I'm sorry. I was so focused in on the game. And the game has always been secondary. I mean, it's up there. You guys are interested in it, and it's fun, and I love to do the projects. But as I sit on the thing with Bernie, this was really all about you guys gave me something I never had growing up. I always wanted somebody, I didn't have a dad that took me to the ballpark and stuff like that. I didn't have anybody to talk baseball to. Now I got a whole family here, you guys, to talk
Hmm.
baseball to. Are you kidding me? And I'm going to be really honest. I mean, even though I just made this announcement Thursday, I do feel the void. I was telling Bernie, and I'm sorry, then we'll go back just talking baseball, but I just wanted to clear up because a lot of people were thinking I was leaving. As no, but today I played a few innings of pocket pennant run, and I'm like, shit, I want to be like on here with the guys doing this, and so I
Yeah.
think for a while doing baseball projects for me is just going to be whatever I'm working on, and if it's on a Sunday or maybe a Saturday night I come on. I mean, Sundays are going to be a given with us, you and me, JT, but like there might be the Saturday broadcast or Sunday afternoon broadcast, but
Yeah.
I just I feel that there should be just you guys need a break from me too. You
It,
really do.
I
So
don't I don't
it
know
is
about
what it
that.
is.
I just feel like I feel like you shouldn't hold yourself to a daily schedule. I think you should be able to come on when you want, and whether that means 4 days
Yeah.
in one week and 1 day in another week, whatever you feel you want to do.
Lead
It's
off the thing.
just
Lead
you know
off
it,
the thing about that though, my friend. And I'm sorry to interrupt, JT.
no, it's a problem.
The
No
thing
problem.
is because I want my focus to be on you guys. It's harder because for me, because I've joked that I'm the Rube Waddell of the community, not because of my dominant pitching prowess, but because, I'm squirrel, and somebody will say something and I will hone in on it. And JT, you've been to some of my broadcasts where a dude's been waiting at bat for 15 minutes. I mean, that's
Well,
really hard for me to
that's
do
part of
that.
that's part of your style, though. I mean, that's
Yeah.
I think everybody has a different style.
Although
It's just you know.
I will say for length of broadcast, though, Dwayne Martz holds the YouTube record. He still does. I can't. He has the longest one. So, damn it.
Everybody has their style. His style, and then you have Al Red Sox fan style,
Yeah.
RJL style,
Oh, yeah.
Retro
Um,
Sports Network, Ron style.
Ron Junkett.
Ron can freeze on a play for a while as well. People talk about stuff enough,
Yeah.
and that's more of a discussion for him than anything else. He keeps a lid on it to a certain degree. I like that you didn't keep a lid on it.
Yeah.
Keep a lid a
I
lot
don't
of
believe it.
cases.
I don't believe in lids. I don't believe in
I
lids.
don't think there should be any rigidly defined. And one of the things that I feel like I'm gonna get off track if I do a stream. I think the only thing that's gonna keep me on track is doing a video. And
Okay.
some guys don't do streams.
Yeah.
Daniel Evanson doesn't do streams. A lot of guys don't do streams.
Larry
And
Fertitta
I feel like
doesn't.
I would get off track too much. I would start talking about a guy, and then a couple
Yeah.
people would talk about him in the chat. And hey, let's talk about Vern Stevens, or let's talk about Ernie Banks for a while. That's fine. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
and then there's probably some people say, hey, you got a game going on here. You want to get the game going? And it just, you're not going to make everybody happy all the time. I want you to be happy
Yeah.
more than anybody because you're the one that's actually going on and doing it. I want you to be happy with what you're doing.
All right,
And
let's. With that being said, because I just wanted to just address this because we have just some folks in there. All right, so JT, you knew this was coming too. All right, now we're in August. Now it's time to make fearless predictions, starting with wild cards. All right, who's going to be in American League first? Let's get it out of the way. What do you say,
who are
buddy?
going to be the wild cards?
Let's start wild card first. I mean, we're going to do the postseason fearless predictions, right? 10th of
Well,
August. Here we go.
are there 5 teams? Isn't it 6 in each league now that go?
I I think.
So
I
you've
don't
got
know.
Rays, Yankees, Red Sox, White Sox, Tigers, and Astros, I guess.
Yeah, so who
I
do you like? Who do you like?
I I think as long as they're going to keep playing Raleigh, I think he might turn it around in late August and September.
Hmm.
I think the Mariners are 4 out. I don't. I feel like that division is so uncertain
Hmm.
that the Mariners could probably come back and win it. I think that's just me rooting. I can't stand the Astros for obvious reasons.
Right.
Um, I don't know about the Rangers though. I don't know. I mean, I just can't get a read on how good they are. Uh, that's a tricky division.
Well,
But obviously,
and
only
you
the
look at
division
that.
winner is going to go.
Well, you look at
Nobody
that
else is going.
division. Right. Look at
Mhm.
the run differential in the
Yeah,
American League
they're all
West.
bad. They're all
Oh
poor.
my God.
But the Mariners have the best of them, and I feel like
Yeah.
they still can do better than what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the Mariners could win the division without having a winning record. That
Okay.
could be possible.
All
Um,
right. How about American League East?
well, I think the Rays and Yankees are going to go to the postseason. I don't think the Rays are going to lose the division. And they're up 5.5. That's quite a bit. The Yankees seem inconsistent, like they're consistently inconsistent. So I don't think they're going to be able to overtake the Rays.
How about Boston coming on the outside stretch here,
They're
though?
both the Boston. Hey, but they're 7 out. They still got a long way to go,
They do got a long
and
way to go,
I
but
don't know if they can keep it up like this for how long can they keep that up? I don't know. I don't think much longer. Um, but they're
Well,
going to
I
make
mean, it's a
the
long
postseason.
way from from the fans yelling "sell the team" to they're in
Right, of
third
course, well,
place.
definitely, it's a
You
long way
know,
from that, but can they keep that up? I don't think
yeah.
so, but they're gonna make the postseason, so there is that.
You got to
Um,
give the Central to the White Sox. I don't think that's any surprise.
mm,
I don't see anybody. I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
folks, but I don't see Cleveland or Minnesota. And
without
just
Skubal, I think it's gonna be tough for the Tigers to make that deficit up.
and I
Um,
predicted the Tigers were going to take the AL Central, and boy, was I
yeah,
wrong. Yeah,
well, I don't think anybody picked the White Sox. Why would you do that? They didn't show you anything. I'm shocked that they're there. The
61 and
Twins,
56 though,
I didn't see
legit.
the Twins in the race. I don't see anything really special about Cleveland
Mm-hmm.
that really kinda took made me sit up and take notice. That
Sure.
division's honestly, it's just the league itself, and we said it, the league is just not impressive this year,
No.
and sometimes some leagues have that. It's
All
the
right,
White
let's go
Sox just
to
have a great time to they picked a great year to make a run.
Phillies. You think let's go to the National League East. What's your prediction with Philadelphia and Atlanta? I think
So,
Philadelphia has a legit chance.
they're 8.5 out. I don't see it happen in a
You
million
don't think you don't
years,
think so?
and their run differential 0. I don't think they're that good of a ball club to do it.
Okay.
The Marlins and Nationals have higher run differentials. I think the Braves win that division pretty handily. The Brewers win the Central. The Dodgers win
Oh
the. I
yeah,
think the division winners are pretty much set in stone.
yeah,
It's going to matter who. Obviously, the Cubs are going to be a wild card. Who else? I don't really know. Um, I
yeah.
think the
I
Cubs
mean,
are a good
I
ball club,
definitely.
but yeah, I don't know who else is going to be a wild card
And
besides them.
I know you're not a fan, but it's so weird for me when I see the Cardinals not having a winning
Yeah,
record.
it's
It's
unusual.
bizarre. It's highly unusual.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I'll just say
You
that.
are, yeah. I like the
Yeah,
Cardinals, so but
There's no,
yeah,
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
weird. It's just
There's
weird,
no,
and
yeah.
they're down there with us and the Reds, man. They're 15 out. The Cardinals, holy shit.
Yeah, it's. I
What's
mean, nobody
weird? Look at if
nobody
you look
can
at the
deny how successful they've been over the years, and their history is very proud. But
well,
yeah,
and
it's one of those down seasons. I'm shocked that the Pirates are down as far as they were. That was one where I must have been wrong
this is
about it.
indicative of how bad our bullpen is and how great our offense is. Look at this. We're right.
Hmm. Yeah,
We have a positive 21
yeah, they
run
should have a winning
differential.
record, but they don't.
We
Yeah,
don't because of our bullpen, bastards. But yeah, look at the Padres still hanging in there. Look at them. They're still hanging in there.
I
Just
don't know
one
how.
back in the wild card, buddy. One back
If
in the wild card.
if I will say this about I mean, they always have. They still have Tatis Jr. If he gets hot, if
Yeah.
Machado gets hot,
Mm-hmm.
they can make a run.
Mm-hmm.
Their run differential is below 0. I don't know how good they are. I don't know really if they have it in them, but I think they'll probably be a wild card, and they could shock some people in the
Yeah.
postseason. Obviously, the Giants and Rockies aren't any factor. The Reds aren't a factor.
No.
Uh, Unfortunately for Aaron Reed, they're not a factor. The Mets, obviously, we know. But the Nationals. I don't think many people know the Nationals lead the major leagues in home runs. They are. There's something going on over there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm kind of wondering whether they're going to get in the postseason.
This
They're only
year,
four and a half out of a postseason spot.
yeah, that's
That would be
well, I
if
would.
I had a sleeper pick, that would be the Nationals.
They've got a better shot than my club for sure. Pirates. I mean, the Pirates could still turn some things around, but when you lose, not just and this isn't a losing streak; it's a 6 series losing
Hmm.
streak, and
Hmm.
that's killing me because we had such an excellent team, and I mean, people are like, "Wow, your Pirates are really doing." This is just not good. And maybe it's time, since if we can't fire the owner, I mean, I hate to say it, but who's the guy who gets his head on a chopping block in baseball is the
It's
manager.
always the manager.
Maybe Don Kelly's got to
Always.
go, and he's
Maybe.
because he plays too much. He plays too much lineup roulette. It's like just find a lineup that works, and then
Yeah, it's
you
always
know,
that tricky. I think I don't know whether who came up with the line. It's been attributed to Tommy Lasorda,
yeah,
But managing is like holding a dove in your hand. If you hold it too tight, you'll kill it. If you hold it too loose, you'll lose it.
Yeah.
And it's always like you're always going to have the fans that say, "Well, if we had more of the same lineup every day, maybe they'd hit better." And then you got some other guys that'll say the lineup is too consistent day to day. We need to mix it up a little. You know, it's one of those situations. It's tough. Managers are kind of hired to be fired, and I don't know
Mm-hmm.
whether it's just been bad luck or not. A lot of teams are just not lucky.
Yeah.
And, I'm not I can't I can't make a comment about the Pirates being poorly managed because I don't see them every day. I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a lot to be said by seeing a team every day and really letting you know, like the day-to-day decisions and
Well,
what,
so
you know.
because of my work schedule, so
Mhm.
you got what MLB, you got the thing where you can always have the scores pinned on your
For
phone the
sure.
whole time,
Yeah.
and so first half of the season was really exciting, right? It's like yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Now it's been, I dread. It's almost like, do I want to pull my phone out of my pocket
Yeah.
and look at that score because it's going to be our bullpen blew it again, and
Yeah.
it's terrible because we are a much better team this year. But what my fear is, JT, is
Mhm.
that nothing's going to come back and say, hey, look, we have one of the best offenses in baseball, and pretty damn good starting rotation, even though Skeens isn't what he was last year. And nothing's going to say, look, I spent some money this year, and we did. We signed Connor Griffin to a long-term contract, which I think was very smart. He's injured right now, but I'm afraid nothing's going to say, look, you guys are all wrong. I spent all this money and it still didn't happen. And he's going to go back to playing welfare baseball.
Mhm.
Or owning welfare baseball. I'm really afraid of that. Todd says he's
No.
got to run. See you around the batting cage. You bet, brother. Drop in Discord more often if you can. Oh, you guys will see me around there more. Definitely. So, well, JT, this is a nice constant to be able to look forward to this on Sunday
For
nights. I'm
sure. I
sorry I
was
was a
definitely
little
looking forward to it. Yeah.
later than usual, but
No problem.
when I was
No problem.
with Bernie, and I'm like, oh shit, I should like grab some dinner. So I went down, hurried up, and heated up some Chinese food, and I'm like
S-
wolfing that down, and
Sunday night is the
yeah,
night for me to come on here and do this. It's a perfect night for me to do it.
good. That
Barring
is
any
for me.
changes in my schedule, that should be the case.
All right.
Um, but
Well, guys,
yeah, it's always a pleasure to come on with you.
if you guys would like, leave some comments in the video of some things that we could all cover together on our nights here with JT, and maybe even come up with some really cool nicknames because we got to make this official now, the JT show, just like Bernie and I have Diamonds and Dice. I mean, JT, it's Sunday night, and I'll tell you what, I get a lot of good comments, a lot of good feedback with you being on here.
Well,
Um,
I'm glad.
yeah,
It's
so
always a pleasure for me to be on here.
yeah,
I
you've raised the
I just
property
want to talk
tax here.
baseball. I
You've
I
you've
just
raised the property tax, brother. So
well,
I appreciate that. I do.
I
And
wanted to talk about a pirate that I really enjoy watching playing is Esmeralda Valdez. I really like the
that
kind of hitter
kid
he is,
and he's got
and
discipline
he's only
too.
22.
I
Yeah,
know.
I think they really have somebody in that guy
Yeah,
as a
we
hitter.
got to nail
Anyway,
him down. Yeah, he's scary good. It's scary power, but it's that discipline. I was watching a game, and it was and Valdez he laid off this borderline pitch that was a ball, and Bob Walk said a 22-year-old would never lay off that pitch. He said this kid's got discipline, and he does. They're saying he's
yes,
got power like Willie
yes.
Stargell. Yeah, he's
Well, I don't
good.
know. I mean, that's a high bar. I think we need. I
Well,
mean, Willie
yeah.
Stargell. My goodness. I just think I'm always going to be drawn to the guys who have great patience and power.
Oh, you're
I think
welcome,
that's what it's
Richard.
all about.
Dude, we help make Richard walking his dog a lot easier. Hey, Paisan, you're welcome, huh? So, molto grazie. We will
I
be
have a
back
blast
again.
in here to Cubs to Bears. I have a blast in here when I talk. I love talking baseball. I just love talking about it. It's just I've got a lot of stuff, and it's only useless knowledge if you don't get to share it. You know what I mean?
Leadoff is
And
hitting you up here, buddy. He says D-backs will put the fear of choke in the Dodgers in the postseason. So that's the kind of fun stuff. That's the cool stuff. There you go.
well, I mean, they did a few years back, right? 2022. I can't remember.
Yeah.
They all tend to run together after a while. 2023. I think they swept the Dodgers.
Hmm.
But the Dodgers were known for choking in the postseason before. That was the Kershaw era. That's what
I
I
was just
call it.
about to say Clayton
Yeah.
Kershaw, and
Yeah,
then
when
yeah.
once they got him off the roster, they started winning the West. I'm pretty tough on Clayton. because people are comparing him to Sandy Koufax, and I'm like,
No.
Sandy Koufax had an ERA under 1 in the World Series,
Yeah.
and that's something that Kershaw can never brag about. And
Koufax. Koufax is the, and this is a high compliment. Koufax is the Dodgers version of 1905 Christy Matthews, or not Kershaw,
yeah,
Koufax of
yeah,
1905 Christy Mathewson.
yeah, he's. And
So
so I just said, if you want to win regular season games, you can get Kershaw, but if you want to win in the regular season and the World Series, you get Koufax.
yeah, you get
And
Sandy.
he was as good as he was in the regular season, and he was winning Cy Youngs when there was only one Cy Young award given for all of baseball.
Right.
And for all that he did in the regular season, he was even better in the postseason. And I'm sad he's before my time. I would have loved to have been able. I remember Al Michaels when Koufax retired. Al Michaels said it just made me sick that I couldn't see Koufax pitched anymore. And I said that's just it had to have been a great honor
Yeah, at least you
to
got to
see him
see him
pitch.
pitch. I didn't see
Yeah.
him pitch. You didn't see him pitch. Yeah, I don't think.
Obviously, we have
Yeah,
game 7 of 65 against the Twins. That's on YouTube,
and that
and
Twins team was no joke.
they were great. They had great right-handed hitters in the lineup.
Oh my
Killebrew,
God. Yeah.
uh, uh, Oliva was a great lefty hitter. I'm forgetting the other righty hitters that they had, but that year Zoilo Versalles was the MVP.
Yes. Yeah.
Another
They were
right-handed hitter.
tough. Yeah, that was a tough Twins team, man. And but Sandy shut him down, man. And the Cubs to Bear says he saw Sandy, he said he was as good
hmm
as advertised. Can only
Well,
imagine.
Tony Oliva said he said because the whole thing about the whole myth, I don't know if it's a myth, but the whole lore about Game 7 of the 65 World Series that Sandy was too tired, his arm was too damaged to throw a curveball at that time. He couldn't throw a curveball. It kept hanging, and it was getting hit, and Roseboro went out to the mound and said, Sam, and he called him Sam. He
Hmm.
said, wow, what's going on with the curveball? And Koufax said, Rosie, I just don't have it. And so Roseboro's like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? And Sandy said, fuck it, blow him away. And he said, that's just what we did. Roseboro got back there and just
Yeah.
fastball after fastball.
Throwing the
And
gas. Yep.
Vince Scully pointed it out in the second inning. He said, he's pretty much proved he doesn't have much of a curveball. He's been doing it with fastballs. And Tony Oliva said, I can't believe he threw the fastball, like 4 or 5 fastballs in a row, and I couldn't touch the ball. I'd never been able to not hit a fastball, and I couldn't touch the ball.
And here's a guy whose favorite sport, his first love was basketball.
Yeah.
How about
Oh,
that?
yeah, we could go into that for a while.
Yeah.
Um, he he said he would just take over midway through basketball. Like he'd have basketball games against some other Dodgers. Like Lou Johnson was a guy who played him in basketball,
Hmm.
and Sandy would just pull away. He said he kept making these beautiful lefty hook shots, and you couldn't block him. You couldn't do anything with him,
Wow.
and he'd take over. That was his favorite sport, and
Yeah,
yeah.
it was.
So
And unfortunately for Rocky Marciano's favorite sport was baseball, and
yeah,
didn't make it. He failed the Cubs tryout because he had a weak arm. You think about that. Rocky
yeah,
Marciano, purportedly one of the hardest hitting boxers of all time, had a
yeah.
weak arm and didn't cut it with the Cubbies. The Cubs the
Well, the
Bears says
arms aren't the
about
same as the
Koufax.
hands.
Nah,
Rocky's
true.
hands were pretty hard.
Oof, oof.
Bobby Allison,
Unhittable,
Bobby
unbeatable,
Allison was
unbelievable.
the
Yeah.
other right-handed good hitter. Rich Rollins was good. Earl Batty was good.
Earl
Don
Bat. I
Mattingly
was
was
going
a
to mention Earl
lefty.
Batty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Earl Batty was a good hitter.
you guys
Yeah,
took care of a very tough uh,
that was a good
Minnesota
hitting ball
team.
club. That was what they were known for, was their batting.
Yeah,
And
kind of like
it
Milwaukee in 19 what it was that 83, the Harvey's Wall
82,
Bangers.
82
82,
Harvey's Wall
82.
Bankers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And they in 78 they had Bambi's Bombers. George Bamberger was their manager then.
yeah.
They called them Bambi's Bombers, yes. Bambi's Bombers.
Mhm.
Say that 10 times fast.
Bob
Um,
Allison. There you go. Yep,
yeah,
Bob
yeah,
Allison.
Allison, Batty, Killebrew, a lot of good right-handed hitting in it. It wasn't just lefties.
Yeah.
And Sandy he just went through them,
Mm-hmm.
and that wasn't his turn to pitch. He only had a couple days rest. It was supposed to be Don Drysdale's turn to pitch, but Alston's explanation was, well, if I have to pull Sandy, I'll put in Don, and then I'll put in a lefty so I can go left, right, left, which gives me an advantage,
Yeah.
which makes sense. He didn't. They
Well,
had
your
he had
rotation was ridiculous in 1965.
the top three. The
That
top
Dodger
three were
team,
really good.
Jesus. Yeah,
The top three, anyway. Yeah, they were
yeah.
good.
Yeah, good. The
I
master
mean,
of understatement here. Come on, you guys. That was
Koufax,
a
Drysdale, and Osteen
that was
were
dominant,
all
man. That was like
all
the
really good
Braves,
pitchers.
Braves of the '90s, man.
Hmm.
And that pitching rotation, that was sick.
Yeah.
And you guys had a pitching rotation, I believe, is great. I really do
Dr-
for that year,
Drysdale in
anyhow.
the bull was in the bullpen pretty much all of Game 7, getting ready to go in case he was needed. Fortunately, what I don't know if John Pernoski was their late inning guy. He was their late inning guy in '63 too when they won.
Tarnowski, yeah.
When they won in '63.
So you're
They
up
had
to the
they still
plate.
yeah.
Mental exercise. Who's going to
Mm.
scare you more from that time, Bob Gibson or Don Drysdale?
Oh my God! I think that's like that's like half a dozen of one and six of the other.
Exactly.
Both guys were mean guys.
Yeah, mean dudes.
They were
Exactly.
you didn't dig in.
And
You
then
just didn't dig in.
and so imagine the right. So now let's add in another guy. Let's take him back in time, right? So
Mhm.
all game you've been hitting either against Drysdale or Koufax, but then who comes in relief? Gossage. I mean, come on. That like so if you could create like who would be the meanest rotation in modern baseball, you got to think about because it wasn't that Gossage was a mean dude, but he had that look. Yeah, he had that look.
Gossage
You know what I mean?
didn't throw at guys. Obviously there
No,
was
but
a
he
famous
looked like he was going to kill you, though.
there was a very famous he
Yeah.
hit Ron Say in the head in the '81 World Series. Fortunately, Say was wearing a helmet.
Hmm.
It hit the edge of his helmet. He wasn't wearing an ear flap, but fortunately his helmet caught it. Um,
Leadoff says seems that poor Kershaw had good stats and postseason numbers,
yeah,
except his home runs allowed ratio was terrible.
yeah.
Look it up. Yeah.
Well, that's not a luck thing when you give up home runs. It'd be one thing if he had a high BABIP against, like batting average on balls in play, but he's given up home runs, and that's
Yeah. Yeah.
just. I don't believe there's any luck involved. Like, oh, he wasn't going to give up a home run here. He gave up bombs
You know,
in the postseason.
I think
They
you
were
know what
bombs.
it could be. Maybe I don't know. This is dime store psychology, but right,
Hmm,
you're a marquee, and there's no denying. I mean, Kershaw, just amazing, right? But
yeah.
even the greatest, it could be something as simple as now you're in the postseason,
Oh,
and
he
and,
got in
and
his own head. Definitely, that's what he
yeah,
did.
exactly, because
He,
you've
he
got now you've
mhm,
got the weight of the baseball world on your
yeah.
shoulders.
I don't think
You know,
anybody felt that more than Kershaw did.
I think you're right.
His expectations for himself
Hmm.
were too high, but at some point, he just couldn't turn that off. He couldn't get rid of that.
But how do you get out of your head? I mean, now
I don't know.
Lasorda
I
was
don't
good
know.
at getting into Hershiser's head to get Hershiser out of his head. Yeah,
I mean, Hershiser had that '88 magical season.
yeah,
He Hershiser was good in the postseason. In
yeah,
85, he didn't go there as much
right.
as Kershaw because
Well, I
back
mean,
then you had to win your division to get
Hershiser
the
was no
postseason.
Clayton Kershaw. Let's,
No,
no,
but I've never seen a pitcher have a better run in the postseason than Hershiser's
than
'88.
Hershiser. Yeah,
Um, Obviously with Koufax, he had great runs in the postseason. I never saw that, but obviously the numbers are there. We can look it up, as Casey Stengel would say.
yeah,
It just, I don't know. It just, I'm not trying to say that Kershaw was bad at bad this, bad that. There was something there in the postseason where he
yeah.
had some good games in the postseason. I'm not saying that he never had a good game, but when your ERA is 3 runs higher than 2 or 3 runs higher than it was in the regular season,
Yeah.
2 runs higher at least, there's something wrong. That's
Well, when
just
you
a
get in
problem.
your head, I mean, you look at what happened with Steve Blass after Roberto Clemente
Hmm.
died. Steve Blass was never
Rick
the
Ankiel,
pitcher.
yeah.
That was it. He was
Mhm.
just gone. That was all. Most underrated person at that time, most underrated of that time, Juan Marichal and Vada Pinson. I agree on both counts. I definitely agree on
I
both
agree with
counts.
Marichal anyway.
I think,
I
I
think
think,
Pinson's properly rated. I think he's properly rated as a player.
I don't know.
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, if that's
You
what you're
don't?
trying to get at.
I am
I
trying to
I
get at
don't believe
that.
so at all.
I think he
No.
is. I think he is. I don't think
I,
he's George Sisler a Hall of
no, no,
Famer,
no, no. I just
but
I get and I think I think his grandson is on social media. Um,
Vada Pinson's.
I believe so.
I know his family's making a strong push to get him
yeah, and I
inducted.
mean, yeah, it's a big thing, and it just think he just falls short. I don't think he got on base that much. There wasn't much. He had some power.
Would
He
you
had
say
some speed.
would you say he would be a Harold Baines type Hall of Famer?
No, no, no. I think he deserved to go in more than Harold Baines. I
Okay.
think Pitson falls just short. Baines falls way short, but he got in. I don't, nothing I can do about that.
Well, and I mean
He
we
was a
pick
better
on him
player
a lot.
than Baines for sure.
I mean we pick on Baines a lot, but let's I
Yeah.
guess the other thing though, and I'm guilty of that.
I'm not saying
Too
he's not a
is the
bad
fact that
player.
the man played. He stayed in. I mean,
Yeah,
Baines stayed in a long time, had a
yeah,
pretty fine career, and
yeah.
lifetime 301 hitter. That's nothing to sneeze at. But yeah, I think Baines. I hate to say this, in my opinion, so I don't get sued. I
Yeah.
think that he kind of lowered the bar to entry into the
I
Hall of
hope
Fame.
not. But I mean, it's just who knows who's gonna get in anymore. It's always
But could
at least when it comes to like the players of the past. I
yeah.
think they're doing an okay job of the guys who just retired. Although I think
Yeah,
I made it pretty clear which guys I think need
yeah,
to
but
get
Lou
in.
Whitaker isn't in. Damn it! Now
Right.
that's
But that's a
bullshit.
player of the past. And
That's
yeah, and
bullshit,
if you want to
man.
put in somebody, why Lou Whitaker instead of Harold Bain? Why Baines and not Whitaker? Doesn't make any sense to
Yeah,
me.
yeah. But
Why
but
why Vada Pinson and not Lou Whitaker?
okay,
Why Omar Vizquel and not Lou Whitaker? It doesn't make
would
any
you
sense
say
to me.
this though, baseball fans, everybody, when we think of the Hall of Fame, and I know at least for me, when I think of Hall of Fame, obviously the elite of the Hall of Fame come to mind immediately. So when you're talking
Hmm.
about guys like Ruth, Gehrig, Johnson, Mathewson, so
Yeah,
on, right? And then you start talking about these other guys that are in, but they're not at that level. Or again,
right.
I've been bringing up George Sisler so much and Hannes Wagner. Nobody's ever going to argue that those guys shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Of course, they are. They're as Big Clue calls them. They're like the inner circle Hall of Famers. They're the top of the
Yeah,
top. And
yeah,
so and so and so
yeah.
do you think, and I'm just offering this as kind of like some fodder for a quick discussion,
Hmm.
when we're thinking of the best, does it make it harder then to think of these guys who really had superb careers and deserve to be in there, but we're saying, yeah, but he's no George Sisler, he's no Babe Ruth, he's no Lou Gehrig, he's
Right.
no Tom Seaver, whatever, Steve
Yeah.
Carlton, maybe.
I remember a guy named a Boston writer, last name Simmons. I can't remember his first name
Mm-hmm.
offhand, but he said there should be a pantheon in the Hall of Fame of the greatest of the greats.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't like that kind of segregation in the Hall of Fame. I think it's up to fans to decide who's in that pantheon and not the hall itself. Yeah, Rizzuto shouldn't be in. Moranville's in. Yeah, he probably shouldn't be. Um, Rizzuto had a strong push because he was a broadcaster of the Yankees for a lot of years, and it was just a matter of
Rizzuto
time.
Rizzuto played for great Yankees teams, and that
Yeah, he
helps.
did.
I mean, would you look at shortstops, and look, all of these guys, even somebody that makes it up for a cup of coffee,
Hmm.
these guys are already elite athletes in the most difficult sport,
For
arguably,
sure. Well, I
right?
mean, yeah.
You know, but but when I think of Phil Rizzuto, and then I think of guys like Ozzie Smith, Archie Vaughn, and Hannes Wagner,
Hmm.
Rizzuto does just for me, and again, that's maybe because I'm invoking these great names. Rizzuto doesn't seem to fit with Smith, Wagner, Vaughn, even Jeter. I mean, come on.
I
Ugh.
just feel like how can you put in and I mean I'm known for this guy and this channel, but how can you put in Rizzuto and not put in Stevens when you look
Vern
at their careers
Stevens.
side by side?
Yeah,
How can you do that? One guy had a much better career, but the other guy was a Yankee, so the
yeah.
Yankee gets it. It's good to be a Yankee.
It is good to be a Yankee, isn't it?
What do you in that time especially?
Oh yeah.
That's why people say Yogi Berra is the best catcher of all time and he's better than Johnny Bench. And I feel like if somebody asks you what Johnny Bench did better than Berra, you can honestly say everything. Now, does that
Yeah.
make Berra a bad player? No, of course
No.
not. He's a great player.
Yep.
But I think Bench is the best catcher we've ever seen.
Oh, I agree with you.
And
I agree
you
with
know,
you.
I just feel like now I know that I think it's Yogi's niece.
Mm-hmm.
They're that's going on, and kind of, I can't remember what her name is. Lindsay Berra, I believe her name.
Hmm.
And I get it, and she's a pretty girl and all that kind of stuff, and people tend to kind of listen to what she has to say.
Vern
Yeah,
Stevens drank more.
yeah, he drank, but I
So
mean,
did Babe Ruth. That's
it
right.
didn't affect his play that
Nope.
much,
Nope.
and he was a much better
But
defensive shortstop, we
you're
think.
talking about her. Why? I mean, you know what? Yogi's in the Hall of Fame, and Johnny Bench is in the Hall of
Hmm.
Fame. Enjoy it. He was
Yeah,
a
I
great
know,
catcher.
I
But
know.
no, you know what? And I'm not. This is no knock on Yogi Berra. He was a
Yeah,
great
I know you're
catcher.
not knocking him.
But if I had to choose between Berra and Campanella, I'll take Campanella.
Oh, that might be that might be a debate. Actually, I think that's quite a debate.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
It's a little
I
late
tell
now.
you,
Maybe that could be
the New
next
York City
Sunday.
catchers, the New York City catchers were, yeah, those two guys anyway
Yeah,
were quite good.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
no question about. The thing about it, Campanella wasn't as consistent as Berra. I will say that he had some down years. He
he
got
did.
hurt in some years.
Hmm.
Um, I know in '56 Campanella wasn't very good. But when Campanella was good, he was good. He was like the
Yeah,
girl with the crow. When he was great, when he was good, he was really good. When he was bad, he was really bad.
yeah.
I think Berra was a more consistent player,
Oh yeah,
but in their best years, like peak value wise, I think Campanella's up there with anybody you want to say.
yeah.
His defense was great. His offense was great when he had his big years. He was a great all around player. There wasn't any flaw in his game when he had a good year.
So you were
So
talking about that pantheon, right? So
yeah,
could you? And you're a very knowledgeable fan. So let's end it with this.
or
All right, pick
yeah.
your, pick your do your pantheon if you can. All right,
Well, I mean,
one
like the
person in
best.
each position, and
Yeah, the
just
best.
so starting
Yeah.
pitcher. All right, so who's your first baseman?
Oh, Gehrig, of course.
Second base.
Uh oh, my goodness. I think you got to go with Hornsby, even though he wasn't very good defensively. He's so good with the bat. I don't
Yeah.
think you can deny him.
Okay.
Um,
Shortstop.
People are going to hate this, but I think it's Alex Rodriguez.
Oof. I would be one of
I
them that
just,
would hate that. We'll move to
well, I
third.
mean,
Let's move to third base.
then who's your number one? Who's your number one shortstop? Oh, it's
Honus
Wagner.
Wagner.
It's
Yeah,
Wagner.
it's Wagner. There's
Yeah.
not even a contest in my mind.
No,
But
you're right. I think I'll defer to that Wagner. I didn't. Yeah, Wagner's the guy.
now third base, I think we're going to agree with this, but
Michael Jack.
there's yeah,
Michael
Michael
Jack is
Jack,
number one.
but there's two other guys that deserve consideration for that. Bat wise, power wise, Eddie Matthews, and
Sure.
defense, Brooks Robinson.
Oh, Brooks Robinson's the best defensive third baseman of all time.
Yeah,
Um,
and he had some pop
Matt,
in his bat too.
Matthews was not nearly as good defensively as Schmidt, and Schmidt was a better hitter overall than Matthews overall.
Hmm.
But yeah, the best fielding third baseman without a doubt is Brooks Robinson.
Okay, now
If
just
you want
general out.
if you want all defense, it's Brooks Robinson at third, Ozzie Smith at short, Mazeroski at second, and Keith Hernandez at first.
Right.
That's your best. That's the best defensive
For
infield,
defense.
in my opinion.
Okay,
Of
but
all
since
time.
we're sticking with Pantheon over, okay, now outfield doesn't matter left, center, right. Who's your Pantheon of outfielders?
Bonds in left, Mays
Okay.
in center,
Hmm.
Ruth in right.
Okay, and who's your catcher?
Oh,
Yeah.
bench. It's got to be bench.
Okay, and now the toughest question of all: who's your
Mm,
starting? Who's your pitcher?
mm,
We could be on another 3 hours for this one, but who's your pitcher?
mm. You know what, man? I got to go with Walter Johnson.
Got to go with Walter
I think
Johnson.
he's the best.
That's a hell of a pantheon you got
I
there.
mean, in career value, who comes near him? Not even Cy Young. It
No,
matches Walter Johnson in career value. I think it's got to be the big train.
got to be the big train. Yeah.
He was so consistently good. Now, if we're talking about a lefty pitcher, I'm going with Lefty Grove.
Yeah,
But
Grove.
we're
Yeah,
not talking about a lefty pitcher.
we're
We're
agreeing. We
talking
are
about
agreeing on
everybody.
both those
We're
guys.
saying
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Johnson was
Um,
just ridiculous to
you know what? And
me.
I'm
To
thinking
me,
for
the
second
greatest
base.
pitcher in baseball history.
Second
Just
base, another
yes.
good one is Eddie Collins. He could make a case for him as the best second baseman of all time.
Eddie Collins could get on base and move the line. That's for sure.
And he could
Um,
field his position.
and a
He's
guy,
very, very good.
there's two other guys at first base too, and I love Lou Gehrig. But my first baseman, it's a toss up between George Sisler and Jimmy Fox at first.
I Man, I mean, what
I
am
mean,
I going to tell you that those guys
Fox
are
was
overrated?
route.
Of course not.
Oh
They're
my
great
God,
players. They're
yes,
great. So what
that's
can I tell you?
yeah. But can
It's
you
just
say
6 to 1 and a half dozen of the other. I think
yeah?
they're all great.
That's
You
what
know,
makes doing like all time leagues
do,
or
do you
like when you
pick
mix
Lefty
them up.
Grove over Randy Johnson? I don't know. I mean, Johnson had a great career, a terrific career.
I would still take
I
Lefty
still would
Grove.
take Lefty Grove, but that
Yeah,
doesnh mean that it's by a lot.
yeah, yeah. Though
I mean,
it's
I
yeah.
don't deny Fox at all. Fox is probably a
Phew.
top 40 player of all time. Um,
Lefty Gomez said even his hair had muscles.
yeah,
That's pretty high praise from Lefty Gomez. He was no slouch of a pitcher, you know.
yeah.
Yankees
Um,
fans know that.
and also where it seems like a crime to leave out Henry Aaron out of
I
any
know.
all-time list. He's probably a top 10 player of all time, Henry Aaron.
See, you put
Cobb,
Bonds.
I didn't mention Cobb. I mean,
See,
Chris Speaker, really?
I
That's so
know.
many
Well,
guys that, you know,
and
it's
you forgot that Williams guy. You know
yeah,
that Ted Williams
well,
guy.
the
Yeah,
only thing that keeps Williams out of the pantheon, or not out of the pantheon, but
right. Because he's in
off the
it.
number one spot is his defense.
Defense.
It's
Well, he
different.
didn't give a shit. If
Well,
they had
yeah,
the
you got to
DH,
give a shit. You got to give a shit about
right.
that.
If they had the DH when the Splendid Splinter was playing, Ted Williams would have been happy as a clam, and you know
Yeah,
it, and I
that
know
would
it,
have been
man.
him. No love
Because
for Mike
yeah,
Squires. Mike Squires. I don't think you can say enough about Mike Squires.
okay.
You
Now I
can't
know who.
top Mike Squires. You can only hope to contain him.
Okay, I'm going to confess ignorance here. I know about Chris Squire, great bass player for
Mike
Yes.
Squires was a White Sox first baseman in the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
And
Now, of all the people that Midlife could have picked, why specifically Mike Squires?
that is a good question. I don't know, but I
Because
like that.
I've
I
never
like
heard
that.
of him. I've never heard
That's a
of
good
him.
obscure pick. I like that. I respect that choice. I
Okay.
like that.
So will he be in 100 years like Moonlight Graham? No, because he was actually up
No,
longer
because he
than
actually
Moonlight
got to
Graham.
bat. He played a few years.
Okay. Mike Squires. Maybe we'll do a Mike Squires tribute some Sunday night.
Oh my God,
So
that would
make sure
be.
Midlife tunes in
I
for
would
that
be
one.
honored to be a part of that.
You would? We're going to
Mike
do a Mike
Squire, yeah,
Squires. Yeah.
absolutely. Why not? You can't
Great
deny
glove, no
him.
bat. Yeah.
He had some bat. I mean, he wasn't great, but he wasn't a bad hitter. Well, maybe he was. Maybe he was a
Boy,
little bit bad.
we hit.
No power. He
He
had no
hit better
power. He
than
could
we
get
do.
on base.
He hit
Yeah,
better
he
than
would
we
hit better
do.
than we. Yeah, he had no power.
Bob
When when
Uecker too. You know, Joe
when the White
Garagiola.
Sox when the
Oof.
White Sox moved on from Jim Spencer, Spencer had power,
Yeah.
and Squires didn't. That was the difference between the two.
Okay, last question, JT.
Yeah,
And I'd never make him easy for you. That's why I'd like to have you on
I
here.
don't want you to make it easy for me.
Good. All right, this is
I
it.
want a challenge.
But
Who's the
I
best of all
waited.
time?
I waited until no, best player of all time. No, no, I'm
Okay.
not going to ask that one because that one
Okay.
can't be. No, I waited until the viewership went down, so we're at half. The greatest baseball team of all time. Who is it?
I think it's the Yankees, but not 27. I think it's the 39 Yankees. I think a
39
lot of people
Yankees.
don't look at it that season,
Mm-hmm.
but the Yankees were so strong that I think they would. I mean, but the 27 team, if you said that, I wouldn't argue with you. Obviously, they were
Yeah,
great.
they've kind of got that mythical sort of
Yep.
thing going on,
When,
but I
when you
think
got
they're a better
when you got
Yankees
two
team.
guys that hit more home runs on their own than the rest of the league did combined,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Um,
Okay.
can't really go wrong
So for
there.
you, it's the 1939
1939
Yankees.
Yankees. Yes.
1939. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing about that team is that's of course Gehrig is,
Yes.
pretty much by
That is
July
the
he's
year.
out.
That is
Whereas
the year.
you had Gehrig and DiMaggio stronger in previous years, 36, 37. But I can
Yeah.
see 1939. In fact, Total Baseball ranks them. I forget where 39 Yankees are ranked by Total Baseball, but pretty high up there.
It's
I
yeah.
would have to say. as much as it pains me to say it, oh, I can't believe this is a Pirates fan. Even without Tom Seaver, the 1976 Cincinnati Reds, I think were the
The
greatest team
best
of
team of
all
all time.
time.
Hey, I'm not gonna argue with you there, you know that. They could play any game, any type of game you wanted to play.
That hurt. I got to wash my mouth out now. That really
These
hurt. Because I mean, you
they
guys know
had everything.
Pirates. We just hate the Reds. They hate us. At least it's honest. But I have to
I think
say it.
39 was Joe DiMaggio's best season. It was either that or 41. It
41. That was a hell of a
41 was
wow.
the streak season,
You think
but
about
in
that, right?
39 he had a great season too. So
1941. You got a guy that hits 406. You got another guy that
mhm.
had a 56 game hitting streak. Then it was broken, and then what? He hit safely. He
Yeah,
started another streak that was
like
like 20.
72 out of 73, I think it was
Yeah.
overall.
Holy
Yeah, it's
shit.
pretty amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
What a season that was, 1941, which of course books have been written about it, the most famous Roger
Hmm.
Angel, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so there we go. Anybody else, who's your greatest team of all time? So yeah, I mean, because
If
I
you
think of
ask
my
me who the best
Pirates and
LA Dodger team was, it's a
yeah,
tougher
okay,
question,
yeah.
but I would look toward 1974.
74 Dodgers,
Even
hell
though
of a
they didn't
team.
win the World Series,
Yep. That's how I
they
feel
lost
about
to the
the
A's. I just think the 74 Dodgers didn't have the uh the A's were battle tested more so than the Dodgers were, and I think that's
yeah.
why they won the World Series. The Dodgers made critical errors in the 74 World Series that cost them. They were young and brash and a little bit too brash for their own good, and the A's beat them. But they were all close games.
Yeah.
They
For
were 3 to
me,
2. 4 of the 5 games were 3 to 2 in that
yeah, that's a
four
hell of a
series.
team. For me,
Yeah.
the greatest Pirates team would have to be the 1972 Pirates.
Oh, I thought you'd say 71, the lumber
Nope.
company, 71.
Well, but they're still the lumber company in 72. So
Right.
yeah,
But
they're still
71 was when they won it all. You don't think that was as good as 72?
better team in 72. Just like the 76 Reds were better than the
Wow,
75
that's
Reds.
a controversial.
Yeah.
Wow, 72 they were better than 71, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I got
Well,
to say, and a lot of
that was
people would be
Richie Hebner's
surprised because
that
they're
was
like,
Richie
"Oh,
Hebner's best year for sure.
what about 1909? What about 1960?" You know, and it's the 72 Pirates. That's the
Stargell's
year
best season was
Clemente gets
73,
his
I think. Looks to
73.
me. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was probably his best season.
Yeah.
72 wasn't bad. Let's look at their pitching in 72. Blast had a good season.
So
Bob
we're gonna have to
Booth
decide.
was great.
We're gonna have to decide for everybody else if they don't start ponying up who they think their greatest team was in their franchise. We're gonna answer for them.
You said
Maybe we'll leave that for
1909?
next Sunday. 1909 Pirates were tough, man. That
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now.
Ty Cobb never won a World Series. Was never in a
What a
winning World Series. How about that?
well, Cobb won with the Tigers.
No, no.
Oh, he did too.
He
Hang on.
no. Go ahead.
Hold on
Go
now.
ahead. Go ahead.
Let me. I gotta look this up because
Go
I
ahead.
am.
Look it up. Look
Did
it
he
up,
not win a
son.
World Series?
Yeah,
Holy
look it up,
cow!
son. Look it up.
Wow, how about that?
That's right. He ran into those. They
Amazing.
ran into the damn Cubs, man.
Wow.
Oops. Yeah, no World
I was
Series.
stunned. I thought he won one.
Nope. I mean,
They
you'd
lost to the
think.
Cubs. They lost to the Cubs,
Yep.
and then they lost to the Pirates.
Yep.
Wow. Holy cow!
It's
Well, there you
crazy
go.
to
There
think
you
about
go.
that, right?
Yeah, it is.
No World
Yeah,
Series laurels
I
for
could
him.
have sworn he won one. If you, I would have
Yep.
got that wrong in a game show because I would have sworn he won one.
Yeah, you'd think so, right? I mean, Ty
Yep.
Cobb for how but how about this one? Same for Ted Williams, man. But we
Well,
know
now I know
that,
Ted Williams didn't win one,
right? Well, any
and
Red
he
Sox in
owns up
that
to it.
period, right? Yeah.
He says he played poorly in that World Series
Well, and
in
Cobb in
'48.
1909 totally outclassed. I mean, by Wagner, there wasn't even a
Hmm.
contest in that World
That's
Series,
true.
and there
That's
was
true.
so much hype about it too.
There was.
At that time.
Yep.
But yeah, Cobb never won a World Series,
Cobb was
man.
just a baby in those days. He was only 22, 21, 20
Yeah.
when those he played those World Series. He never got back after all that.
Those Cubs teams were just ridiculous. I mean, they were. I mean,
How
they so
about
they had to
that?
face the Cubs twice, and the Pirates were tough in that first decade. So you got to so the Cubs beat you, and then you face the Pirates, and they beat you, and that's got to be like,
Hmm.
okay, maybe we're going to go do something else now. Because then in 1910, who is it? The Philadelphia Athletics, right? In 1911,
Yeah.
the $100,000 infield. So You know, that pretty much spelled it for a while for. And the Tigers, they're a proud franchise. I'm not knocking them, but yep,
No,
poor Ty Cobb never got the brass ring, man,
nope.
or whatever ring you want to
Well,
call
I
it.
think the thing with about the 1909 Pittsburgh Pirates is that people might underrate is how good their pitching staff
Babe
was.
Adams, baby, Babe
Yeah.
Adams.
Oh, did Adams pitch for them in '09? Let
Yeah,
me.
pitched. Yeah, because he also pitched for them in 19
Oh, Adams
1925.
was coming out of the bullpen more often than as a starter that year.
Yep. Yep. Actually, he's the best pitcher in Pirates history. Is Babe Adams. He still holds so many
He was.
Pirate records. Now, is he Hall of Fame? No, Pirates Hall of Fame definitely. He is in the Pirates
Hmm.
Hall of Fame and should
Yeah.
be. But I think Nick Maddox had like his career year that year and all that. So
Yeah.
1909 Pirates are tough, but the 72 Pirates, man, 71, 72. That early lumber company, in the 1960s they're building on that. That's why I think the Pirates were so good in 1969. You know,
Well,
because
I would pick the
everything was coming
71
into
Pirates
place.
over the 60 or the 72 team. I think the 71 team was better,
Okay,
but
fair enough.
72 they were very good.
Hmm.
There's no question about that.
We only
The
had
Reds got
one.
by them on a pass ball, I think, or a wild pitch. That settled that league championship series.
We only had one sub 500 season that decade, and that was 1973. That was it.
Hmm.
For obvious reasons, it's pretty demoralizing when your greatest player, your star player, is killed. You know
Yeah.
that previous New Year's Eve, but yeah. And because everybody talks about the '79 Pirates, and I think that was more the "We Are Family" type thing. And they weren't a bad team, but the '71 Pirates were
No,
much stronger,
no, you're
just
right. The
stronger.
Pirates were really good in '72, probably the best team in baseball that year.
Hmm.
But they lost to the Reds,
Yep,
and the Reds
bastards.
were, yeah, the Reds weren't quite that good in '72. They
Not
were
yet.
fine,
No. Yeah,
but they weren't yeah, they weren't the Red Machine yet.
not yet.
I think the Pirates should have won that league championship series, but they
Yeah,
didn't, and that's just unfortunate.
yeah,
But
because
I
it
do
would have
remember
been
that
nice.
final game of that series was Bench hit that home run against Justy,
Hmm.
and he hit it to right field, which he never hit the ball that way.
Yeah,
So it was a very freakish kind of home run. And then Hal McRae was at the plate when the wild pitch, the game-winning wild pitch happened.
yeah. It's
And that's as much of a heartbreaker as '92. I gotta imagine.
Well, I think that 92, the only reason why that would be, or why that is for us more of a heartbreaker is because
They
our
didn't win.
last world championship was
Yeah,
79.
they
So
didn't
we were
win.
finally,
Yeah,
right. So in 1990, the Reds didn't beat us. We beat ourselves, right? I mean, Bonds and Bonilla, they both choked in that 1990 LCS
yeah, they
again.
had
But
a
we
hard
were,
time of it.
we were the better team than the Cincinnati Reds. And I'm not saying that because of the rivalry. We were better and we just choked. It just didn't happen. But a lot of hopes in 92. And I mean, ninth inning, man, we're on our way to the World Series. And
Yeah,
then we weren't. And we
yeah.
were out of the postseason until 2012. So we've had droughts. And it's been since 2015. So 11 years for us now. And again, no World Series. The only team other than us that has a longer World Series drought is Cleveland, 1948. You know,
I
so
think
is there anybody in this community that was around when the Indians won the World Series last? I don't think so.
no, no.
Yeah, so there you go.
I think Bonds just got. I think they just beat Bonds. The Reds had a lot of lefty pitching, and I think that's what kind of tied up Barry.
Well, and Bonilla, same thing though. Pop up,
Yeah,
pop up,
Bonilla,
pop up. I said, come
Bonilla.
on.
It just they kept throwing lefties at him, and there wasn't really anybody else to pick up the slack.
Yeah, but then Jim Leland makes a goofy decision in Game Three. He starts Ted Power.
Yeah,
And,
that was
and
a
he was
strange
asked
one.
pregame, and like, why? He said, well, he used to
Yeah,
pitch for them, so he knows the hitters. It's like,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on, are you serious? I mean,
Eddie
we had
Van
a
Slyke
pretty,
had a rough World Series, had a rough
yeah,
series too. Not quite as bad as Bonds
no,
in
Bonds
terms
just,
of like batting average. Bonds'
ugh,
on base was 375, which is good, but he didn't do anything power wise.
no.
The Pirates only hit 3 home runs in that series,
Hmm.
but the Reds only hit four. It was a very close World
It,
Series.
it was close, but you look, I mean, the Pirates pretty much held first place in the National League East,
Hmm.
like by the second week of April. and they were just strong. And we just thought, yep, this is it. Finally, 92. So DeCubs Bear says he was born the last time the Indians won. So there we go. So there's nobody here that remembers that except for reading about it or whatever. So that, I mean, that's
Hmm.
hard. But I'm starting to get scared as a Pirates fan. It's going to be like shit. People are going to be pretty. I mean, 1979. Wow, that's ancient history, man.
Well, that
You
last
know
game, that wasn't too, yeah, for starting power. But the
that
Pirates
made
and
no
Reds were
sense. That
they
made
were
no
they were
sense.
tied mid-game. The Reds got a run in the seventh off of Zane Smith, who probably should have been the starter.
Yeah.
I think it was an old table game strategy. I think starting power and then going to Zane Smith after. I think
Nah.
it was like kind of a starter, like that 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 opener thing. I think it was kind of the first appearance of that.
It could be. I just
I
don't.
mean,
I'm never. Who am I? I'm not
that's a
going to
tough
question
loss.
Jimmy
Wow.
Leyland, but
Yeah.
we. So 1990, but 92. That I think that
That's
was it was such a heartbreaker, just because it had been so long, and Pittsburgh climbed out of that shit in the mid 80s. Not only were we
mhm,
a sucky team, but also all those drug trials were being held in Pittsburgh.
yeah.
So our team's in last place, and baseball suffers a black eye. And where are they holding the trials? In Pittsburgh, right? But
Yeah.
then we start, right? Sid Thrift makes the big trade, trades Tony Pena for, LaValliere, Van Slyke, and Mike Dunn. Mike Dunn washes out. The other two go on to become an integral part of those 1990 Pirates. 1988, we finished second in our division. 89 an off year. Then 90, 91, 92. It was just great. And then Francisco Cabrera, and boom, that's it. See, you Dodgers fans, you guys don't know the pain of a long
No.
drought. You really don't.
No.
You really don't.
No. We've been fortunate
Yeah.
about that.
No, you've
Although
been good. You've been good.
I will say in 2004 we won our first playoff game in 16 years. That was a long time for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, no real huge drought. 88, but it had been they hadn't won since 88 legitimately until they won in 2024. I
Yeah.
don't really count the pandemic year as anything.
No.
We went
No.
over that. Uh, but 91, I mean, I'm looking at the Pirates when they went against the Braves in 91. Bonds had another rough series, but so did Van Slyke.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Just.
struggled. It's all of them were pretty heartbreaking. They all went the limit.
And I hated that stupid tomahawk chop. No,
Yeah. Who
I'm
liked
like,
it?
shut the fuck up.
They took that from Florida State.
The Florida Seminoles, I think it
Yeah,
was,
the
right?
Florida
Yeah.
State Seminoles. Yes,
Oh
that's where they
God.
stole that. Okay, the Red Series did the 1990 series didn't go seven. It went six.
Yeah. We just.
But
Yeah.
91 and 92 went seven against the Braves both years. Seven
We
games.
folded against the. We shouldn't have, and we were just better. That's so 1990 was like,
I
and the
agree.
1990 World Series was boring as hell too. That was like, ugh.
Well, it was a sweep.
Yeah, it's
And
sweeps
the
are no
the A's
fun.
were the A's were revealed for being an over. They were just overrated.
No, I know. I mean,
Have
it's
we
so.
not gone over the A's in the late 80s and
No, I
90s?
know.
They're
It's like
overrated, man. They're
how
just an overrated
Crash
ball
Davis
club.
talked about strikeouts being fascist. So are World Series sweeps. They're fascist.
The Dodgers won in five, and they weren't supposed to win that, but they won it pretty handily.
Yeah.
And then they won in '89 because well, not because an earthquake happened, but that whole series was screwed up because of that
Yeah.
earthquake.
Well,
And
yeah.
'90, the Reds just stomped them. They just stomped them in the ground. It was
Yeah.
a joke.
Yeah. That World Series.
It,
I'm
it
just.
revealed how
Yeah.
overrated the A's were,
Hmm.
in my opinion. I just felt like they were an overrated team.
Yeah, they weren't the A's of the early 70s. Those guys were a juggernaut. Oof.
I think the Reds just in 1990, the Reds. I think Piniella did a great job with that team.
Hmm.
I think they had great relief pitching, which is something that you got to have in modern baseball.
Oh, yeah.
They had great left-handed, hard-throwing lefty pitchers, and that just gave opposing lefty hitters fits.
Yeah.
And they just it all came together. It was like that one dream season,
Yeah.
like the '84 Tigers. There's a lot of teams that have that one shining moment. Like the Tigers never went to the playoffs for years before '84 and for years after '84. But they have '84, and they were unbeatable that
Mm-hmm.
particular year. That's why I call them a Cinderella team, kind of, because they didn't go in. It wasn't like the Pirates where they'd won division titles previously. They hadn't won anything until. Although, if you're a Tiger fan and you want a good challenging playthrough, I would say play through '83.
Mm-hmm.
They probably should have won the division in '83, but they didn't.
Yeah.
The Orioles did, and the Orioles weren't that great a ball club. I think Tigers could take those guys down if you did a playthrough.
Yeah.
So, and the Orioles won it all that year. That was Cal Ripken's rookie year, I think,
Mm-hmm.
'83. So Ripken
Well,
Jr., of course. Um,
well, I
but
think
yeah,
it's a yeah. Go ahead.
it's a good playthrough. I think they're a better team than a lot of people give them credit for. They were building.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the '85 Tigers aren't too bad, but you have to contend with the Yankees and the Blue Jays, which are very good teams. But
Mm-hmm.
it's doable.
Definitely.
I just prefer that challenge. I can't play the '74 Dodgers. They're too good. I would win.
Yeah.
I don't think I would stay engaged. That I was like, oh, here we go. We're just because I mean I think Rin Tin Tin. There's a dated reference right there. I think they could. I think Rin Tin Tin could win with that team. I think a trained monkey could manage the '74 Dodgers and do pretty
Yeah.
well.
That was a great, great team.
So when people
Well,
play through like the '27 Yankees, I'm like, well, yeah, my cat, my housemate's cat could win the pennant with them.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
throw their names in a hat. Like play 52 pickup with their roster and form a lineup out of that, and you'll win.
exactly.
What do you want? Babe Ruth hitting eighth or ninth? Still, you're gonna still win.
Still gonna win. Well,
So
gentlemen,
it's
I think we're here. We're at the end,
that
man. We're
timer
two
1 a.m. over in
hours.
your neck of the woods.
Yeah, yeah, and so we've been on for 2 hours and 40 minutes, brother. You know, I love these. I love these Sunday nights.
It's
So,
past your bedtime, Mr. Beatles.
well, it's now time for me to start winding down. I
Yeah,
probably won't go to sleep for another 2 hours yet, but
yeah.
planning on watching an episode of Downton Abbey because you know that's a great
Oh,
show.
right on, right on.
Yeah,
Have you?
yeah.
You know what? I'm thinking of Pittsburgh because my favorite show absolutely is The Pit. Now, I love that show.
Oh, really?
I think it's fantastic. I just, it's not about baseball or anything. But it's a great show. It's a
Yeah,
fantastic show.
it's a
And the
fun
girl and I
city.
watch it all the time. We actually finished the second season today. We
Nice.
and we loved it. It was great. We're sad that they need to make more quickly. So
Oh, Nathaniel, you're hey,
thank you for
JT and I,
being
yeah, man.
on.
Yeah,
Thank you for
exactly.
just tuning in. We're nothing without you guys. I mean, that's just you did the family, and
Amen.
I always tell you guys, don't be afraid to say anything in here. Nothing's off limits. There are no rules, no laws, no limits, no love lost. You say whatever you feel. Disagree with me, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Be I welcome everybody's opinion because that's how we learn. I think is we don't if we don't agree, and there's conflicting views. What that does is that makes me look like I didn't expect you to say 72 Beatles. I didn't.
Thank you to Cubs the Bears.
You
Now,
know.
the only wrong answer though, there is one. Dwayne Martz, Dwayne Martz, who isn't here tonight, is that
Oh my
Willie
gosh.
Mays is the greatest center fielder of all
Yeah,
time, and
Maze and the Mick.
and since I'm not going to be on until next week again, Dwayne. So,
Well,
JT, love
that's
you,
the
brother,
argument
man.
between with Robert with Koufax and Grove.
He's
You
he's
know,
he's ducking me, man. Robert's ducking me on the
he's
Grove
stuck in
Co
you.
factor. He's
He's
ducking me,
busy.
man.
He's busy with that replay, is what's going on.
He's
He's busy with
busy.
96.
I'll get him when he's on his hiatus, and he's still gonna duck me. I
All
love
right.
Robert,
Well,
but he's still ducking me because he knows I'm right.
well, I
Oh
it's
man,
always a pleasure for me to come on and talk,
thank you,
and
man.
I love
Yeah,
talking
it's great.
baseball. I just enjoy it, man.
Yeah,
I could do this for a few more hours if need be, but it's just because I never get tired of talking about baseball. I can get out of bed and talk baseball with people,
there you
and
go.
I love doing it. But
Yeah,
anyway, it's great to be around with you, brother. I'm glad that this is going to continue to move on these
oh
Sunday
yeah,
nights,
on Sunday
and
nights. Yep.
you just got to be happy in life. You got to you got to do what you want to do. In this case, this is a labor of love,
Well, what
and
I
it's
want to
about the
do is
family.
Kate. I want to
You
do
know,
Kate Beckinsale, but I can't, obviously.
well, yeah, that's another
But you know, that's a
that's a
whole
whole
nother thing.
story.
Yeah,
You know,
but I'll do other things anyhow.
I
All
mean,
right, look, love you, brother. Love to all you
love you too.
guys,
All
and
right.
we'll see you around the batting cage. JT and I will be back
Uh,
on next Sunday night.
Take care, everyone.
All right. Good night, everybody.